All right, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. We got a big show to follow up from Thursday night. We got a big show ahead for you. I hope you guys hang in with me. There's going to be a little density to it, probably a little more density than we're normally accustomed to. But I think it's important. I think by now some of you see what I'm doing. Some of you see where I'm going with this. We started out a few episodes ago with the Dan Flood signal, in my opinion is a signal. We moved on last episode to let's look at pictures, evidence of burns. Tonight we're going to talk about the scene a little bit. So let me set all that up. I've got somebody to bring in. We're going to have a guest for a little while tonight. You guys are going to appreciate that. And there's just a lot to talk about. This has been a research project in, I'd say, months in the making. I don't know about this particular component of it, months in the making, but the Charlie Kirk investigation itself, months in the making. There are some really good researchers behind the scenes that are providing quite a bit of evidence in the Charlie Kirk investigation, so we'll get to that as well. And I want to hear from you guys. So we'll take some questions, obviously, at the end of today. So we'll get to everything. I've gotten, let me say this before I get started on the opening statement. I've gotten more emails since Thursday night's episode. Than I probably had gotten in the previous 2.5 months. More episodes in the last, what has it been, 72 hours? 72 hours? Probably more in the last 72 hours. I saw somebody complain about the sound. I just changed one setting that I was going to flip in the middle. If it got better, let me know. If it got worse, let me know. I'm reading as it goes before I get to the opening statement. Let me know if the sound got better or worse. And then I'm going to get right into it. All right, here we go. If it got worse, you guys are just going to have to get over it. If you can't tell the difference, then that doesn't bother me either. All right, sound is great. Let's go. There were 2 mass shootings yesterday. One at Bondi Beach in Australia. One at Brown University in Rhode Island. As of now, it appears, at least on its face, the shooters at both events have been arrested or neutralized. The shooting at Brown University happened about 4 p.m. local time yesterday in Rhode Island. That's Saturday for those watching a replay. The shooting in Australia happened about 11 hours later, which would place the shooting just before 3 a.m. this morning, Sunday morning, in the eastern United States time zone, and around 6:47 p.m. local time in Australia. Both shootings are unquestionably tragic. Indeed, any loss of life is tragic. Mass casualty events happen entirely too often, and anybody who disputes that is a ghoul. But as with most things in life, the time we dedicate to covering news items on this show must be prioritized. We simply do not have enough time to cover everything. We spent the last few months looking intensely at the Charlie Kirk investigation, and recently, we feel like we've made tremendous progress into potentially identifying what happened. Our investigation will not be derailed by what happened at Brown or in Australia, despite the tragic and sensational nature of those events. This afternoon, I did a quick perusal of the social media accounts of the top people serving the Fed slop narrative involving Tyler Robinson as the sole person responsible for what happened to Charlie Kirk. My review shows an urgent attempt to switch the focus from the investigation into Charlie Kirk to what happened at Brown and Australia. I have no doubt they're desperate to discuss anything other than Charlie Kirk. Unfortunately, that investigation is still wide open. And as long as we're able to continue making gains on finding what and who are responsible for Charlie Kirk's death, we will continue to look into it. The same goes for the recent media blitz of Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk. She spent much of the last week doing favorable media hits, trying to shore up support for the Fed slop narrative that Tyler Robinson solely neutralized her husband with his granddad's 110-year-old 30-06 mere seconds after taking a prone position from 142 yards away. She made sure to add that anyone questioning that story is evil. She spent plenty of time squinting at interviewers and squinting into the camera as she begged people to stop investigating Charlie Kirk's death. I assume the squinting face was focus group to underscore just how angry it makes her that someone would have the temerity to verify how her husband died. She did appearances on several Fox News properties, including Hannity, Fox and Friends, The Brian Kilmeade Show, The Five, Outnumbered, and Will Kane Country. She topped off her big week with a town hall appearance hosted by CBS's Barry Weiss. As with the shootings at Brown University and in Australia, spending considerable, precious time analyzing these appearances would undermine our efforts to investigate what happened to Charlie Kirk. I assume that's why the media blitz was scheduled. I make no assumptions about why the shootings were scheduled. With that very quick and intentionally focused opening statement, I want to summarize what we discussed Thursday evening on this program because I think it's critical to setting up tonight's episode. First, we looked a few episodes ago at Dan Flood's alleged hand signal. While at UVU on the day he passed away, Dan Flood is the man positioned behind Charlie to Charlie's right. The video of the event clearly shows him stepping forward, extending his right arm, and touching the upper part of his right arm with his open left hand. If you haven't seen it, you may see it tonight. You may see it several times tonight. We reviewed during that episode an event Charlie Kirk had at Texas A&M from this past spring, where we saw Charlie reference call signs and Dan Flood make the exact same move while laughing with someone off the camera to his right. He stepped forward, extended his arm, and touched the upper part of his right arm with his open left hand. The similarity is uncanny. It's impossible for me to ignore. It firmly solidified my opinion that Dan Flood was doing the exact same motion at the exact same second Charlie Kirk was taken down, and that was a signal of some sort. There was a reason that signal was the first part of this new series in this investigation into Charlie Kirk. It was, in my opinion, so clear, so undeniable, that it sets up the rest of the issue I plan to present over the next few episodes. Namely, was Charlie Kirk even shot at all? Or was he electrocuted and killed by electrocution or finished off under the table in the SUV or at the hospital? Thursday, we looked at a number of images and videos of Charlie Kirk's hands before, during, and after the big moment under the tent. We saw where his hands looked pristine seconds before the loud bang. He could be seen holding the microphone with no scars, no cuts, no abrasions, and no burns. We saw multiple images of Charlie Kirk's left hand during the immediate aftermath of the bang, while he was still in his chair. He could be seen tightly gripping and then dropping the microphone as his hands initially seized and then relaxed. Immediately after relaxing his hands, while the microphone was still falling from his left hand, you could see his left hand looked heavily injured. It was burned or scorched dark and damaged, in my opinion. We saw images of both of Charlie's hands while being carried from under the tent to the waiting SUV. Both hands looked severely wounded. His right hand, wrist, and lower forearm looked badly burned, bright red and shiny. His right thumb was particularly damaged, almost oozing. His left hand looked a dark blue or black and badly damaged. You recall I said while showing those pictures I had help from a viewer. The viewer helped find and curate these images and others, and that I wasn't sure if that viewer wanted to be known, but if she did, you'd probably hear from her later. It sounded something like, oh, I need a producer so I can just fly right into these transitions. Taking applications. Oh, sorry. Hang on just a second. Here you go. Hold, please. This is what it sounded like. Just wanted to be here with you. I was going through this. I've been coming along. I've had several emailers. I don't know that they want to be named, or I would name them. I'm not trying to hide their names. I don't know whether they want to be named. If they do, maybe I'll come on next show we do, and we'll talk about them, and maybe get their thoughts as well. So we'll get their thoughts as well. Well, tonight we'll get their thoughts. Tonight is later. We'll hear from one of those emailers in a few minutes. I'm going to bring in AlleyTopFiles to work through some more images of the scene and our attempt to determine what happened to Charlie Kirk. Tonight we'll take a look at the setup, particularly the tent and the surrounding area. But we'll also look at other items in our attempt to figure out what happened. To determine whether Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk in the neck with a 30-06, we must first determine whether he was shot at all. As you've probably guessed, I'm trying to limit in each of these episodes 1 or 2 issues to allow them to be easily digestible. I'm hoping tonight is plenty digestible. And with that, let me introduce AlleyTopFiles. We can work through some of the new material. We'll start with images comparing previous setups to the setup at UVU. And I don't see where she is. She's not there. So I might have to wait on her to join the pro. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Sorry.
I am here.
Hey, there you are. And our amazing viewers who are so horrible to me about my sound, they'll let us know if you sound good or not, and I can try to play with it if you don't. All right, let me do this.
We finally meet.
Yeah, we met an hour or two ago.
Yes, we did. We did.
We sound checked and worked through some issues. So let me just do this. I'll start this slideshow from the beginning, and I think it will be probably the easiest way to work through this. There we go. All right, so I think this was an image you found. I don't remember. I found some of these. You found some of these. Yes. But talk to me about, this is obviously an image not from Utah Valley University. Talk to me real quick. Oh, they're saying there's an echo on your side.
Is there?
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, I'm getting a lot of people saying there's an echo. Can you go to the audio settings and click that echo kill? Might be able to do it on my side. Now tell me if there's still an echo, because I killed that.
There you go. I killed it now. How's that?
See if that did it.
Yep, I took the echo off.
Okay, let's see. All right. Tell me what we're looking at here. This is an image, obviously not of UVU. And tell me what we're seeing when you look at this. Why would we select this image to show folks?
Okay, this particular one, I think this one's yours. The other one I had is the one of the grass.
Okay.
But that's okay. I'm seeing that he's on a chair that is, it looks like it has rubber stoppers on it. And
correct.
He's elevated. Yeah, he's elevated on I don't know what kind of table that is. Maybe somebody in the chat could tell me.
Well, he's sitting there on a plastic table. He's in a chair with rubber, with a rubber bottom.
Yep.
I like this photo because it shows the sound guy on the table next to him. Mm-hmm. This was a typical setup for Charlie Kirk. For those that didn't know, this is a very typical setup from them. This is you've got the sound guy at the table. You've got Charlie Kirk in the middle of the table, and you're on some kind of padding or concrete. And this is a very typical setup. I'll show you another one. Here's another one. Very similar setup. This is not the same event. You'll go back and look. You'll say, that's the same event. No, this is just a very typical setup. You've got the sound guy on the table next to him. You've got Charlie Kirk in a chair with rubber stoppers. If you look at the very bottom, he's sitting in a chair with rubber stoppers at the bottom. And he's sitting on concrete, not on grass.
Correct.
So now we go to an event on grass. I think this was one that you found. What are you looking at here?
Well, I'm looking at rubber mats. And I'm looking at rubber stopper on the chairs.
Mm-hmm. And we still have the sound guy in the chair next to us.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the sound guy, and if you notice on the day of UVU, they had water bottles and juice and all the stuff all around his audio table, which is a no-no. I've done events before, and I'm a photographer, and that's an absolute no-no to have any kind of water bottles near any kind of electrical board of any kind. So this one was just right at the end. I see there's some water bottles there, but it's right at the end.
Yeah, but we're on grass, but we're sitting on some sort of mats or rubber mats or something that provides some sort of insulation between the chairs, which are also have rubber stoppers at the bottom, and the ground itself. So we have this sort of grounding barrier here between them. I grabbed this one Again, this was showing you the sound guy on the chair, on the table next to Charlie where you can see him. This has been the case. I'll go back and look in all of these images. The sound guy is on the table next to him. We'll examine in a few minutes whether the UVU setup was any different. Here's a setup where they are on concrete, and you'll notice I grabbed this one because the tent stoppers are actually on the ground, directly on the ground. I don't remember where all these were. I think this might have been the University of Florida, but each one of these was in a little different setup, and the tent stoppers were actually down there on the ground. The tent is sitting directly on the ground. You'll notice that here. The tent is sitting directly on the ground. It's sitting on grass. Charlie himself is sitting on some sort of concrete, but the tent is definitely directly on the ground. Dan Flood is standing directly on the ground.
Yes.
Now, similar situation here. We're on concrete, but again, the tent is directly on the ground. This is at the University of Arizona. The sound guy, you'll notice, directly next to Charlie Kirk. There's no barrier between them. He's not down on the ground. He's directly level with Charlie Kirk. He's at the chair directly next to him, and the tent is directly on the ground. Here we are again with a grass bottom down here. I can't tell if he's sitting. It looks like he's sitting on some kind of a sidewalk over there, not necessarily grass. Dan is standing in the half in the grass and half on the sidewalk, but the tent is actually sitting directly on the ground. I think this is important context for the things we'll talk about tonight. So the tent directly on the ground, Charlie sitting on the concrete, the sound guy, you'll notice, on the table back there in the back, directly next to Charlie. For those of you who've been complaining about my mouse, guess what? I got a new mouse, baby. Y'all have been complaining since you met me about the mouse. I got a bright green mouse now. Took me a minute to figure that one out. Again, same setup. This time we do actually have a fire extinguisher. This time the fire extinguisher makes an appearance, but it's in a box. But it's a tent directly on the ground. Dan Flood standing directly on the ground, and they are standing on some sort of concrete. So in every image we've looked at so far, Allie, Charlie Kirk is sitting on either concrete or some sort of barrier between him and the ground.
Correct.
In every single image we've looked at so far, the tent is sitting directly on the ground, just like it is here. The tent is sitting directly on the ground.
And when he was on grass, I noticed that he had rubber mats every time, especially when he had a speaker with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time. I looked at many debates. And if I'm not correct, maybe somebody can correct me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Look, we're always open to being corrected. You can't possibly rule. It's impossible to rule something out unless you've seen every image from every debate. And I have not. But I've seen a lot, and I've not seen any that break this pattern. Again, on some kind of concrete, tent stands directly on the ground. Charlie Kirk sitting below table level. That was a little different that day. And you'll notice the sound guy, you can't see because of the sign, but he is on this table right here. He's not down below next to it. So the pattern holds time and time and time again. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to flip to a side view of the UVU day. This was a picture taken from Charlie's 9 o'clock. I think you provided this picture. It's a picture taken from Charlie's 9 o'clock. It's not up yet. I'm looking at the preview of what's coming up.
Okay.
Taken from Charlie's 9 o'clock. He has, it will give you an idea of how the sound guy is not on the same level as Charlie Kirk. And it will show you the grass and a little bit about the tent. So tell me why you selected this picture, why this drew your attention, and what it is we're looking at.
Well, this was the UVU, right?
I'm pretty sure this was the UVU.
This is the one that I found.
Here we have Terryl Farnsworth. Here we have 1776 guy. We have Rick Cutler down here on the lower left, looking up at the camera, smiling for some reason. We've got
that's odd. I did see him talking to somebody else before that guy went up the hill. But yes, I noticed that just the whole area, you can just literally put a rubber mat with everything. You could put it with the speakers underneath Charlie. What I noticed is also there's fountains, there's like water underground, there's like a lot of problems. You would need an electrician to come there to certify this to be an outdoor event, or if they have that at UVU itself. I would strongly suggest whenever there's anything to do with water involved that's so close to where he's speaking, because you wouldn't put your kid up on a microphone singing by a pool, right? So you would definitely make sure that he would be secured as the, he's the star, so he would be secured, and he would have something other than a metal table, feet on water bottles, and a metal chair with no rubber stoppers. Everything just seems to me so sketchy, and that's why I emailed you about it, because it just didn't seem right to me.
So now we're looking at another one. This is another image from behind. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this may be the last photo Mikey McCoy took, allegedly.
Yes, I got it
This
from
was
his story.
this was mere seconds before Charlie Kirk passed away, like under 20 seconds.
Yes.
But we see here no rubber stoppers on the table. I mean, on the chair.
Nothing.
Metal stands running directly from the stand down into the grass. His legs leaning against the metal frame of the chair. His back leaning against the metal frame of the chair. Dan Flood standing on what are those plastic? What is he standing on? I think we have
It's
a better
like
image.
it's like a rubber table. It could be rubber, it could be plastic, but he's standing on something, and then he's standing on top of equipment case.
So he has
So
a barrier between himself and the ground.
he does. He
Yeah.
does.
And Charlie Kirk is on a metal chair, on a metal table, on metal stands going into the ground.
And metal legs of the table.
And metal legs of the table, yeah. So
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk's in a little different situation than Dan Flood is in here. And if you want to get an idea of just how much metal is involved, here is the aftermath. You have, the metal chair you can see from the bottom. There are no metal stoppers. You see the metal legs of the chair going directly into the ground. Right there. And let me flip here. I put a little sensor.
A blur.
There was a lot of blood there, so I went ahead and blurred it out a little bit. So,
but if you notice, there's nothing like further. There's no blood further from that, just on that part of the table. Yeah.
You know what I noticed in this picture when you sent it to me? The first thing I noticed was the suitcase or whatever that is to the left, on the other side. Yeah, this equipment case right here. This equipment case right here is plastic. It looks plastic to me, and it looks to be about 6 feet long. And when Dan Flood tips Charlie over, he lands on that equipment case. He doesn't land directly on the ground.
I actually emailed that to Candace, and she talked about it on one of her streams. And I shout out to Scooby-Doo Files and other live streams I've been on. She discussed it on that one live stream she had, that he fell on top of an equipment case, because that's very, very important than just throw him on the ground. And he didn't really grab him, and hold him and then put him down. He kind of went, oh, I got to touch you first, kind of thing. And then he put him on top of the case, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but in the instance of a bullet wound, and here's what I think got lost in that coverage, because I heard Candace cover it. I've heard other people cover it. What typically happens is she covers something and everybody instantly picks up on it because she's got a keen eye for evidence. But what I'm looking at now in the last couple of weeks, when I look at that equipment case, is if he is shot through the neck with a 30-06, it doesn't matter whether he lands on the ground or whether he lands on an equipment case, right? But if there's electricity going through him,
if the ground around it was a little bit moist, or I don't know what the grass was like. That's the problem. And there was no rubber mats or anything. So
that's what I'm
saying.
Better, so if there's still electricity coursing through him and he hits the ground, he potentially could light up people around him.
Exactly.
But if he lands on a gigantic plastic tub that creates a grounding barrier between the earth and him, the electric current would stop.
Exactly. Yeah. You got it.
So that's one of the things I noticed. So we're going to get another side angle here. This side angle shows these are look like plastic tubs. I'm guessing they're plastic. I don't know. They might be rubber or something, but these are some kind of, I went back one too many. These look like plastic tubs of some sort. This is the platform Dan was standing on. You'll notice there's a fire extinguisher on the front right. There's a fire extinguisher on the back left, or the back right here. I don't know if people can see that in that shadow, but that's a fire extinguisher there. There's a fire extinguisher here. And you'll notice every chair of the tent is elevated above ground. They're all on these plastic stools that create a barrier between the earth and the tent itself. That barrier is important if there's electricity involved, because if there's a giant electrical bolt, the tent could then become electrified. And if somebody's leaning against the pole and doesn't know the tent is going to be electrified, they might be at risk as well. Anything else you see on this one before we click the next one?
No, I can't really tell if that table that Dan Flood was on was, plastic or heavy duty plastic or rubber. I know those are sound equipment cases that they store stuff in, but I can't tell what that material was. That's the only thing.
Again, a couple things to see here. One is this is the elusive Jeff Long. Jeff Long is the deputy chief of police that Brian Harpole tried to throw under the bus and back the bus over him, acting like he didn't get what he wanted, and it was somehow Jeff Long's fault that somebody was able to get on a roof. We covered that extensively. Jeff Long gave him everything he wanted. The text exchange, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but at work we always do this if somebody's beating a dead horse, right? The horse's legs up, leave it alone. But Jeff Long and the text message with I think it was Dan Flood, it turns out to be. But essentially what that text message exchange is, hey, can we put somebody on this roof up here above us? This is a walkway above them. Can we put somebody up there and can you block it off so people can't get down there and chunk rocks down at us? Sure, you can. No problem. And they did. But again, you have an elevated tent right here. You have the deputy chief of police. He's playing with the microphone. My guess is, in looking at this, and I checked with a friend of mine who's a sound guy, he thinks this is the microphone for the guest. He thinks this is the guest microphone.
Well, we don't know, right? Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know. But based on where it's located, he thinks it's the guest microphone. And the guest microphone is missing.
Still a no-no in something like this. You should put gloves on. You shouldn't touch it. That's just
again, I think they thought he got shot in the neck. I don't think most people wouldn't be worried about a microphone,
Right, but you still got to secure the scene and not touch the evidence.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's there was no scene securing, as we'll see in this next image.
Oh man.
So one of the things I want to talk about tonight, this image has taken on new importance for me.
Yes.
Originally, this was one of those images that circulated not terribly long afterwards as evidence that the scene wasn't secured. It was evidence that maybe people were doing something shady, because when he was removing the SD card, he was kind of looking around left and right. He looked kind of shady. But he was taking the SD card out of here. And for those that don't, not everybody does photography or computer stuff. The SD card is a storage device, right? I don't know that it stands for storage device, but in my head, it's always stood for storage device. But the storage device was in the camera, and it was recording or capturing on the SD card everything that it was seeing out in front of it. So whatever they did behind the table, for example, after Charlie Kirk went down, whatever they did behind the table would have been captured on that camera. I know Candace Owens was invited to view a portion of that footage, primarily, I think, for the purpose of saying, no, nothing came out of the back of his head. There was no exit wound. And there was no entrance wound from the back of the head. There was a lot of rumor at the beginning that he was shot from behind.
Correct.
Or that he was shot here and it should have blown out of the back of his neck. She gets in touch with this guy right here, Terryl Farnsworth. He lets her see this footage. My question is, if I ever talk to Candace, what I'm going to ask her is, did they shut it down before you saw what was going on to Charlie under the tent? Because I have a lot of concerns we'll talk about in the next few episodes of things that might have gone on under that tent. And
I
they were
know,
only
I
under.
know he was there for quite a while. I did an interview with Henry, the first speaker that talked about Mormons.
Mhm.
He was actually the last one to have a full debate with Charlie. So that was an interesting conversation that me, him, and Mr. Letko had on his live stream. And he was pretty sure that he was told that the SD card went to um, the proper avenue. And I said, well, how do you know that? Like he was on camera for quite a while with it, putting it in his pocket, putting it wherever he was putting it. How do you know it went somewhere? Well, they took all the kids to a certain area and locked them in a room and were told that the SD card went somewhere. So that
Who
I have
told
a
them that?
problem with.
Was
So a
it
lot of the
police or was
kids,
it?
all the kids that were there, like the speakers and the main people in the front, were directed to a different room, I guess to be interviewed or whatnot. And he told me his accounts. And I said, and our live stream that we had on that, he said, well, I know it went to the proper, I don't know if I can say it, the F whatever, B
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, they went there. And I go, well, how do you know that? Did you see him put it in his hands or did you see anything? And he said, no, like a staff person told him that. I said, well, then you don't know because he was out there for quite some time. If you watch UVU events, he's out there for a long time with that in his possession. So we don't know when it got to them,
Well,
is what I'm
so
saying.
and here's what I would say. If Terryl Farnsworth, who's taking the SD card out here, if Terryl Farnsworth turned the SD card over immediately to the feds, Terryl Farnsworth wouldn't still have a copy of it to show Candace.
Correct. Correct.
Unless the unthinkable, which is the feds made a copy and then sent it back to him.
Yes.
Right? That doesn't even make sense. Nobody would even think that that's possible.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so, if he did actually turn it over to the feds, then he did not. He either made a backup copy, and he didn't turn it over immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he turned it over immediately, he wouldn't have a copy of it in all likelihood. So that's the way I look at that. Now, I want to show, now that we were talking about Terryl Farnsworth, I want to show why this video matters in a new light. Well, actually, let me show this first. Let me show this video first. This video, for those that are worried about seeing the gore, this has been edited. It is not going to show the moment of impact, so to speak. But I want to play a portion of this video. I don't want to play the whole video. It's a little over 10 minutes long. This is going to show a minute or so before Charlie Kirk is the loud bang. I can't even say he was shot because I don't know that I believe that anymore. It's going to show a little bit before the loud bang. It's going to show him fall down, but it's blurred out. You're not going to see anything. It's going to show the hustle and bustle afterwards, and then it's going to show them carried off. Most people haven't seen this in its entirety. We've seen clips, but I think it's important because you get a real sense for just how quick they get him out of there. And when we're talking about my idea of what might have happened, you'll get a really good idea for why how fast they got out of there really matters, because we're talking about neck injuries and all kinds of things. So let me just let this roll for just a second. and they're taking him right away right there. So as of this point, there's no life-saving measures being taken place, right? So this is 9:48 on this video. So let's go back to the moment it blurs out for the shot. It's 9:30. 18 seconds he was on that ground. Now, I want to think counterfactually for just a second. We'll watch a clip of this again in a second, but I want to pause here and have a discussion. Had he been on the ground longer, first responders are going to show up.
Yes.
First responders are going to report to the scene. There were paramedics there with red bags. If he's on the ground longer, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, minute and a half, if they're really in there trying to stop the bleeding, if they're really trying to evaluate the cervical neck to determine whether it's broken and he can be moved. I mean, you have a giant gaping wound on the neck and he's unconscious. You might ought to consider a couple of quick things before you pick a man up and let his head flop around. And let me tell you, I've seen images that have not been released and they did not secure his head whatsoever. It flopped all the way to the SUV. It just did.
It's interesting you say that, because I was on a live space and we were discussing that with an actual EMT, and they have those neck braces and platforms and stuff to carry somebody away. So I found it very odd that they didn't, they ignored the EMT that was there. It was almost like they were non-existent when I looked at the video footage.
So there's 18 seconds. In those 18 seconds, there were, there were a lot of things, a lot of handoffs it looked like, or people moving and somebody comes in and somebody else runs off. We have no idea what was happening during those 18 seconds. I'm suggesting perhaps the footage on the SD card could give us a lot of information as to what happened during those 18 seconds. And it might be critical to understanding whether they've been honest about whether or not they took life-saving measures. Or were they removing stuff from the scene? Could they have been pulling things off of Charlie Kirk's body and scuttling them away from the scene? That's something we'll explore, not tonight, but in a later episode.
Can I say something? I just feel like
you.
Well, when he was taking the SD card out, I just feel like there was a whole bunch of other cameras around that were not significant to him. They were saying that, someone's going to steal the camera. Well, you would have to get up on a chair, unscrew, because it was screwed into the tent area, and you have to take it down. That would be a process, but the cameras that were around the tent would be much easier just to grab and go off with. And they were still sitting there while he was taking down the SD cards, stepping on the chair that Charlie was on.
So I want to introduce another video here, and I don't know whether they can hear these videos. I think they can. I pulled the video way down. I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I don't hear really well, and things in my ears that are really loud are really bothersome to me. So you'll see me a lot of times. I'll pull the headphone out of one ear and turn the volume down. So if it's too low that you can't hear it, let me know. I want to show you this, and I want you guys all to focus on one thing in particular. This guy right here in the 1776 hat. Now, this video will terminate 1 second after Charlie Kirk, after we all hear the loud bang. But I want you to watch this guy as he gets ready for the loud bang. And then I want to go back to the other video once you've keyed in on him and see what he does. And I want to see the timing with which he does it. Now, I want to be very careful. I am not accusing this man of participating in Charlie Kirk's death. I'm not suggesting anybody should find out the identity of this man and harass him and ask him questions and email him and call him and show up at his house. I'm not suggesting any of that. What I'm suggesting is there is a coincidence that I've noticed that if I am on Tyler Robinson's defense team, or if I am the Utah County Police or Sheriff, or if I am the Utah State Police, or if I'm the FBI, I want to know more about this action. Now, it could be it's absolutely nothing. But I want us all to watch this very carefully, and I want to watch and learn what we hear. Now, you guys are going to have to tell me whether or not you can hear sound, because sound is going to be a critical component of this. I'm going to go for the sake of argument, I'm just going to do about 15 seconds. If I need to, I can back it back up. But let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, could you? I don't know if they could hear. Okay, they couldn't hear it. So no audio, but so without the audio, I don't have to worry about you guys hearing it. Notice what he does here with his head. He's looking, and then he turns to the side right here. He's looking, and then I'm going to show you the bigger video in just a second. He turns to the side right there. So he's looking forward. We've got about 7 seconds left in Charlie Kirk's life. He's looking forward. Just watch his head. See that right there? That turn his head and put his head down? Because I'm going to show it to you now in the context of the larger video, and I want people to look at the Dan Flood signal while you look at him turn his head and put his head down. I think it's critical to understanding what's happening here. Oh, wouldn't you know it? I shut down the other video. I might have to.
They shouldn't even be there, to be honest. Once you have a setup, usually the sound guys are not like right there. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I get it if they want to be there for the purpose of like that moment there was feedback. Let's say that was an accident and there wasn't supposed to be feedback, right? If they want to be there for that because there's feedback and they want to be there to stop the feedback or whatever reason, I get it, fine, whatever. What I don't think should be happening is they shouldn't be an active participant with strange coincidental timing movements and things that line up to a gunshot and a potential signal given by somebody else. That shouldn't happen. And that's really my fear about what may have happened here. And I'm going to show you this video again in a second. I'm having to pull it back down because I foolishly closed it, but it give me 30 seconds and I'll open it back up. It's a large file, so it's going to take a second.
There's just a lot of people around the table there, around the audio
there were a lot
table.
of people, but again, I want to set this video up before I open it. What you're looking for is, I just zoomed in on the sound guy. You saw him turn his head, and I might be able to zoom in a little bit, but if I zoom in too much, I'm going to lose Dan Flood. I want you to watch the Dan Flood signal, and at the exact moment he does that, the sound guy turns his head as if to shield himself. We all know when something loud is coming, we shield ourselves. It's a natural human instinct. You can't avoid it. If you're aware a gunshot's getting ready to come, you kind of do this and you get ready, especially if you're not really accustomed to it. Now, if you're a Marine or you're in the Army and you're in infantry and you hear gunshots all day long every day, that might be totally different. But I'm talking about normal people who don't live on the range and who, for whatever reason, this is just the experience they're getting, right? This is what they have. So let me play it. I've got it pulled back up now. I apologize for dropping it. Okay. Now I want to set this up. Went too far. This is Dan Flood over here on the left-hand side. You guys know that, right? And here is the sound guy you're looking at. I can play this at a slower speed, so you'll see it in halftime. So this is it in, let me get right up next to it so that we're not wasting a ton of time. All right. This is the guy we're looking at on the right here. I'll just let it roll. You guys said you couldn't hear it much anyway.
Hunter, yeah.
Hunter. So, well, I don't want to say his name.
Okay.
We'll just say sound guy. So this is sound guy over here. There's the signal. There's the head turn. There's the bang. I'll try to play the sound with it and see if they can hear. So were you able to see what I'm talking about? Dan Flood gives a signal, in my opinion, gives a signal, and then immediately when he sees the signal, sound guy turns his head and shields his head and body.
Yeah.
That's
and thanks for
normal.
Blake B gave us this video here. Blake.
Oh yeah, this is Blake Bednar's.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got Twitter or Facebook, some social media outlet.
It gets reshared all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been reshared a zillion times. But Blake Bednar's done yeoman's work on
He is
curated
fabulous.
videos. Yeah. So again, for those who didn't see it, I'm going to back it back up. I'm going to put it on mute so I can talk over it. But you've got the video here. I'm going to play it in real speed, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Dan Flood gives the signal. As he gives the signal, sound guy shields his head. Signal there, shields head, bang. This to me must be explained. There's no explanation for this that I will accept that this is uninvestigated. Now, they might investigate it and determine after they look at phones, after they look at computers, after they look at, they might conclude, hey, this is the weirdest coincidence of all time, but it's just a coincidence. That might be the conclusion. But you know what? If my husband's dead, I want to know if that's the answer. Mm-hmm. I want to know if that's the answer. Now, I'm going to implicate someone else here in this countdown of events because I'm going to talk over this. It's on mute. I want you to look over here first to Hunter Kozak, the questioner. He's the one right here on the right-hand side. Right before he gets to the last question, he looks off to the left and he does something to his glasses. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it is that right there, boom, you see that? He looks over to the left and he does something with his glasses. Immediately upon him looking to the left and doing something with his glasses, watch Frank Turek. Frank Turek's the guy with the white hat over here. Immediately now, Frank Turek is turned towards Charlie Kirk. He will now go to the hat. When he goes to the hat, watch Dan Flood's head. He goes to the hat. Dan Flood turned his head and looked at him. When he goes to the hat, now these two over here are talking. Watch where his eyes go. Watch where Hunter's eyes, not Hunter, excuse me. Watch where Terryl Farnsworth's eyes go. They go down at the sound guy. They go down at the sound guy. When they go down at the sound guy, watch Dan Flood give the signal. When he gives the signal, watch sound guy turn his head. This might be, and I'll play that back in real time so you can watch it. I just wanted to stop it and explain it. It goes, Hunter Kozak looks to the left, either towards Frank Turek or to somebody over here. He does something with his glasses. Frank Turek then goes to the hat. Dan Flood looks at him. Dan Flood looks to his left at somebody. Could be the sound guy, could be something. I don't know who. But he looks over there. When he looks over there, Terryl Farnsworth, who's right here, his eyes go down to the sound guy. When his eyes go down to the sound guy, Dan Flood steps forward and gives the most obvious signal in the history of mankind, in my opinion.
Me too. And
when he gives the signal, sound guy winces and shields his head before the bang. Watch it again. Watch it again. So we've got Hunter is going to kick it off with the look to his left and the glasses. Glasses. Now watch Frank Turek in the white hat over here. There's the hat. Now watch, there's the look to the left. He looks to the right. Now watch here. He looks down, gives the signal. Sound guy turns his head down. And then Charlie goes over.
Yeah.
This is,
and it literally takes just a fraction of a second for, you know what I'm talking about, to happen. A fraction of a second.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's my, or I don't want to say it's my theory of what happened because I don't know that it is yet. But I think it needs to be investigated whether Charlie Kirk was in fact shot at all. I don't care. I don't care what the autopsy shows. And here's why. If I'm right, if this theory pans out, here's who all is implicated. You have 5 people in the SUV. 5 people in the SUV who know his hands are fried. They can see him. You've got the driver, a guy named Brian, I think you told me. You've got the passenger, Dan Flood.
Justin. Justin was the driver.
Excuse me. That's why you're here. Justin, the driver. Dan Flood in the passenger seat. In the way back, you have Frank Turek. And
Rick
then you
Cutler,
have Rick Cutler and Brian
Brian Harper.
Harpole in the back seat with Charlie Kirk. All 5 of them would know Charlie's hands are all burned up. Even if they didn't know whether or not he got shot, they would be able to look at his hands and say, the hell happened to his hands? Why do his hands look like that? Anybody would know that. Anybody would know the hands didn't look right. So,
and it looks like to me, it looks like there's a finger broken. I was electrocuted when, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell my story. You let me know if I'm allowed.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep. It's dear to me.
I know your story, so go ahead and tell it.
When I first heard about this, I immediately, thought of a different scenario. Don't know if I'm right, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just sharing my experience. When I was little, I was like 13 years old. My sister was, washing clothes in the laundry room, and the tub overfilled, the drain was plugged, the water went everywhere, and she was 5 years older than me, and she asked me to help her. I'm only 13 years old, and oddly enough, my dad's an electrician. Okay, we were taught never to touch water and plugs or anything like that, but I came in there with nothing, just, I'm just a kid playing outside with shorts and a t-shirt. Come in like, oh, Allie's gonna save the day. And I said, well, just unplug it. She's screaming that it's over flooding. And I came in and I reached for the plug to unplug it, and I got electrocuted. And my sister she had boots on because she was going to a party that night. So she put my dad's construction boots on because everything was wet. And she saw I got electrocuted, and my hand curled up. My eyes went in the back of my head. I don't remember anything else, just like my whole entire hand went into the socket. And my sister grabbed a broom within seconds and hit me with the broom on my hand. And I'm lucky to be alive. I didn't have any jewelry on. My dad said if I had a jewelry on, I would be dead. So I do have what's called a left bundle branch block. And
Okay.
that's from the electrocution that happened to me. And so my hand did get blistered. It went a little bit black, and I kind of hid it from my parents for a bit. Then I had to go to the hospital, and that's the end of history. But anyways, I do have a heart problem from that.
Well, so we have obviously you have a personal history with this. I dropped the slow mode to 30 seconds because I'm watching spam in real time. So for those of you who are contributing faithfully and well, I appreciate it. For those that aren't, this gives the moderators a chance to find them and block them. So I want to go through this, though. There's a roster of people that is now growing. And for those of you in the chat, I was watching the chat a little bit while Allie was telling her story from her childhood with electricity. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the burn up hands, go watch the last episode. Go watch number 29. This is number 30. Go watch number 29. Number 29 talks about the hands. It shows a lot of images. You'll see what we're talking about. But if you're not up to pace, that's fine. You don't have to watch every episode of the Real Baron podcast. You're welcome to, and I encourage you to, but you don't have to. But the 5 people in the SUV definitely would have seen the hands. Brian Harpole said on the Sean Ryan show he made a 911 call to let them know they were on the way to the hospital. Based Sam Parker, a Twitter superstar who's done yeoman's work on this, heroic work on this, again, curating things, breaking original reporting. He's the one, I believe, that broke the Mikey McCoy walking away story.
Yeah.
He's the one that proved that was Charlie's necklace coming out of the back of the shirt. He's done a great job. Sam Parker requested the 911 calls. No 911 call existed from Charlie's team to the hospital. Now, let me speculate. Let me speculate why that might have been. If Charlie's hands are all burned up, the last thing you want is a team meeting you at the door with a stretcher saying, hand us the body, we'll take it from here. Because now you've lost control of the body. If you can get the body into the surgical suite, which is what Brian said they did, nobody met him at the door. They rushed in, they dropped him in there. Now you have a surgeon So you've limited the number of people who have seen the body. They've also further limited the number of people who've seen the body because they didn't turn it over to a crematorium and they didn't turn it over to somebody to bury him. But you do have the 5 people in the SUV, that you have the surgeon, you have anybody else in that room who was there, who by HIPAA cannot discuss it. There are privacy rules associated with this, and that carry criminal penalties if you discuss it. So nobody in that suite is going to be able to talk about the condition of the body. But you also have a medical examiner who must be in on it. Again, if the hands are burned up. If the hands are burned up, you have 5 people in the SUV. You have a surgeon, whoever else was in the suite, we'll call it 2 or 3 people, let's say 8 or 9 people. You have a medical examiner. You have whoever's storing the body. You have a mortician, because somebody had to get the body all prettied up and get the hands right for Erica to come in and do that really weird video where she's kissing all over his hands. So you have a growing group of people who, if this hypothesis is correct, you have a growing group of people who would know about it. Now, why do I say that? Obviously, on the one hand, it's more difficult to keep a secret the more people know about it. But if you know about it, you're implicating yourself in a felony, potentially a felony murder. So it might not be in your interest to tell other people that you know about it. So that's kind of one. But number 2 is this gives Tyler Robinson's team, the Utah County Police, the Utah County Sheriff's Office, the Orem Police, the Utah County Sheriff's Department, the Utah Valley University Police, who probably have joint jurisdiction, I'm guessing, the Utah State Police, the FBI. It gives a lot of different investigatory groups numbers of people they can approach to ask, did you see his hands? What'd they look like? And here's why that question is so important. If I had a deposition, if I was a lawyer and could take, I don't know what the rule is in Utah. Some states allow pre-criminal trial depositions, some don't. But if I'm a lawyer in Utah and they allow criminal depositions, pre-trial criminal depositions of witnesses, I would be putting these people under oath and asking that one question. Did you happen to see his hands? What did they look like? Anyone who says, I don't remember, is suspect. They're in on it. Because his hands look all burnt up. Then I'm showing them pictures. I'm marking for identification purposes, Defense Exhibit 1. This is a picture of his hands. We'll worry about the authentication later. Do you recognize this picture? What does this appear to be? I don't know. I've never seen hands look like that. Okay, you're a suspect. This is a real easy wedge issue to get in on people because we have high quality imagery of his hands immediately after the shot. I'm talking 26 seconds after the shot. I have a photograph from 26 seconds after he was shot. 8 seconds after they lifted him off the ground. Both hands look burned up. One's oozing. And the other one's
right up to his arm, like right up.
Yeah, it goes up his wrist, his forearm, and everything else. Great call. I want to show one more piece here. One more video here tonight, because this was on Candace Owens' broadcast when she broke the news that Terryl Farnsworth, now where is it? Hold on. This is when she broke the news that Terryl Farnsworth had this imagery. There it is. You guys should be able to hear this. If you cannot hear this, I can't help you. If you can't hear it, you're on your own. Hold, please. All right, here we go.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. He's dead.
Right there at the end, he said he's dead. They just shot Charlie. He's dead. At the time, this didn't really jump out to me as more than speculation. That this guy must have known perhaps there was a gunshot coming, or this guy, you know, for some reason thought it a good idea when his boss got shot that he ran into a prime filming position and started doing selfies. It looked really weird. It looked like it was just one of those moments where you think, what the hell's going on? Why would he do this? I look back now after talking to Allie, after talking to electricians, after talking to a neurosurgeon, after talking to an orthopedic surgeon, after talking to a burn wound nurse, after talking to an AV professional who does stages for a living, after talking to another AV professional who I've known for 25 years, this now looks like someone who thought it a good idea and in their interest, in my opinion, to instantly begin planting the narrative that Charlie Kirk was shot. We got to get this planted that Charlie Kirk was shot. My guess is, my opinion, if you pulled this guy's phone, there's 70 videos of this routine from the week before where he's doing this number in his closet. They shot Charlie. They shot Charlie. And then he watches it and says, oh, that doesn't look believable. Let me try it again. He's dead. Oh, no, that doesn't look believable. Whatever happened, he ended up recording this. And he didn't share it. He recorded this, but they didn't share it. Why? Because he looked at it and thought this isn't believable either. Even with all my rehearsals, I couldn't get it down right. Again, my opinion, I don't know whether that's true. But I'll tell you what, if I'm Tyler Robinson's defense team, if I'm the Utah County Sheriff, if I'm the Utah County Police, if I'm the Utah Police, Utah Valley University Police, if I'm the FBI, I'm asking for this guy's phone. Because your sound guy shielded his face half a second before the bang went off. And he shielded his face in concert with a guy stepping forward and touching his left open hand to his straightened right upper arm. And your guy shielded his face when the guy did that shortly after there was some sound issues and we were having to go up to Charlie and say, hey, you need to hold on to the microphone. And your guy, right before he did this, your client, Charlie, his hands were all burned up. And the only thing electronic around him was a microphone that your guy controlled. And after all of those coincidences, you think now's the time to jump up on gravel and start trending a narrative, setting a narrative that Charlie just got shot and he's dead?
It didn't look authentic. And there was other people that were there. Even Butch Hibbs was in the background saying, it looked like a gunshot. And it looked like, that the guy that was speaking he was talking about guns, so we want to get that narrative out there, and it is out there.
I mean, it was instant. The narrative was he got shot.
Yep.
And once there's a narrative out there, it's very difficult to get people off of that narrative. It's very difficult to get people off of that narrative. I think Charles McClintock Wilson, if this case ever gets solved as something other than a gunshot, deserves a Pulitzer Prize for his photography, his photojournalism. Because without Charles McClintock Wilson, all we would have is grainy, like 0K images.
15-second videos.
Yeah, that are like all blurry. You can't see a single thing going on. You can kind of make out that the hand looks charred. Then you get
and that's what I was saying to you. Like when we were messaging, I said there's something wrong. It even looks like his shoulder is broken or something is not right, and his pinky's broken, and it just doesn't look right.
So there's additional imagery out there. Charles McClintock Wilson gave me one particular photo. He asked me not to share. I'm going to honor his wishes, and I'm not going to share it. He did tell me I could describe it, and I will describe it in more detail later. And then determine how to present that. But I will say this. Zero caution was given to Charlie's neck, either the wound or the break. Zero caution whatsoever was given to Charlie's neck during the transport from behind the table to the SUV. And anyone who wants to challenge me on that is wrong. I've tried to get my head in the position I saw in that image, and my head will not go in that position. If that gives you an idea of what his head was doing while they were carrying him off. Now, you ask yourself, you pay millions of dollars a year. These guys are supposedly your brothers and your friends. Is that how you want to be carried away from the scene? Because I'm telling you right now, I saw how he was carried away from the scene. I physically cannot make my neck get in that position. And if I tried to get someone else's neck in that position, I think I would go to prison. And that's not a joke. Don't talk to me, guys, about this as your brother and your son. Because if I'm right,
if it was your daughter up on that stage, wouldn't you fight to the universe to find out what happened, or are you just going to leave it to whoever to deal with it? Like if that was my child, we're not going to even talk about husbands, wives. Let's just say it was your daughter. What would you do?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly. Yeah. So it's been an interesting investigation with you, Allie. I really do appreciate it. I'll show quickly on X where you can see Allie if you want to give her a follow. She does great investigatory work. She doesn't publish a lot under her own name, but she does great investigatory work. Her name's AlleyTopFiles on X, and on YouTube it's the same, right?
Yeah, I'm not that. I'm more of a researcher, guys. I'm kind of like everybody else out there that's just researching, and I go on other people's lives. Like I went on Trigger Smart, I went on Mr. Let Go's, Kelly, Blake. We do live spaces. Yeah, I just I love researching, and I'm not so much love the camera, let's say.
You've done great tonight, truly. You've truly done great tonight.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there she is there. You guys can see all my subs off to the side, my most recent ones. So I'm outing myself here as a Dave Smith, Valhalla, Brandy and Billy, Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Andrew Hiller, Coach Colin, Stan for all those. I'm not ashamed of it. But yeah, go check her out on AlleyTopFiles on X, AlleyTopFiles on YouTube. And Allie, I really appreciate you joining us today. This has been helpful. Great to get your perspective, and glad people got a chance to meet you.
So, yes, I'm very happy that you had me on, and we got to discuss a lot today. And yeah, so checking out, and I hope everybody can follow my page and keep on digging, because this is what it's all about.
Yep. Thank you, Allie. I'm going to go through some supers now. Guys, I appreciate you hanging with us. It's been, again, kind of a heavy show in terms of evidence, in terms of the actual evidence. Kind of a heavy show. But it's not an unnecessary show. This was a necessary show. I want to set this up much the way I would set it up as a litigator who is presenting evidence to a jury that I need them to consider. So when you're setting up a trial, this is what you do. This is how you do it. You put your evidence on in a certain order, and it builds off one another. I had to go 3 episodes ago and talk about Dan Flood giving the signal. Why? It set everything else up. I had to go last time and talk about the hands being all burned up. Why? It set the rest of it up. I had to go tonight and show that the sound guy shielded his head. I had to show that the tent was set differently. I had to show that there were additional fire extinguishers. I had to show that there was insulation and non-insulation in different parts of it. I had to show it was on a grass instead of mats, instead of concrete. This is an important part of building the story, and we've got more to go. There's much more to go. So we're just getting started on this hypothesis. I hope it gets investigated. I hope it gets a fair hearing. Proverbs 15:27. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Keep moving forward. You're a great American. Life's a lesson You learn it when you're through. OH, hey, IU. Thanks, Ken. That's a very generous gift. Thank you, Baron, especially the family, for sharing it with us. Theory makes the most common sense. Thanks for Recom, the B&B top notch as you are. Thank you, Rocky Mountain. Sassy Cowgirl, look at Charlie's underarm in the photo you shared with us that had the red hand. His underarm is really fried. That's correct. And let me tell you, there's additional photography out there. More is really fried than just his underarm. Unless anyone think they can stop this from being revealed later by removing me from being able to discuss it, 7 other people have a copy in a dead man switch file. No one's looking at it, but in something happens to me, there's a password they can open it up with. So it's there. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of burn going on under that shirt. And we'll get to that. That's the future. This is called foreshadowing. I'm letting you in on what's going to happen. Baron, please search Naveed Akram on Google Trends to see if his name has been searched by Israel prior to December 14th. He's the son in the Bondi shooting. One of the shooters. Lucky guns are banned here. You must be in Australia. I did search, and he was, in fact, searched. Let me say this about Google Trends. You got to use quote marks around your names. I saw so many people talking today about Google Trends where they were not using quote marks. You don't use quote marks, your search is almost meaningless. Not completely, but almost meaningless. Use quote marks. If you want to search Naveed Akram, put quote marks around it, and you're going to increase your likelihood. You're going to help eliminate a lot of noise from the signal. Baron, proceed immediately to the hospital with your entire camera crew. Interview the entire medical staff and demand to see the autopsy report. A couple things wrong with that, Jolly Pop. My entire camera crew is in this room with me right now. We're all here together. So that's number one. Number two, if I storm into a hospital, I'll be removed for trespassing and arrested if I don't leave. And 3, I can't see the autopsy report. I don't legally have a right to view it. And someone would have to release it to me. And I think Erica Kirk might be the only person who can do that right now. And I don't get the idea she's in the mood to do that. Hunter K slipped up and said something about a mic, got shook up, and then tried to cover it up. Really weird. I tagged you on my X, same name as here. I'll take a picture of that because I'd like to see that. But if you got a good tip, email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Tagging me on the X. There's thousands that get tagged every day, and I can't do anything with that. It's too hard to search. X has a really lousy search function. Prayers up for Australia. We need to learn to respond to hate with love. Then you can never lose. Don't look out for peace. Look within. Stay safe. Thank you for the A-Bucks. Thank you. Thanks to you and your fam for sharing your Sunday night with us. Always look forward to it. Oh, thank you, Carrie. It means quite a bit. Yeah, my family sacrifices quite a bit for this show to be successful. So thank you. Going early, but I know it'll be a good one. I did go early. I did, in fact, go an hour early because we had 400 super chats the other night, and I wanted to leave plenty of room to make sure I got to everybody's. If anybody had a question, I wanted to be able to get to it. I had to cut it off early the other night because it was already 11 o'clock. So I wanted to leave an extra hour in case there were some additional questions. Bondi Beach. Well, that's dumb. That's not how it's pronounced. It's Bondi. I'm sorry, you Australians don't know how to pronounce your own communities. That is Bondi. In no world is that Bondi, unless it had a dash. Bond-I. That's not Bondi. That's Bondi. Like Pam, ma'am. They paved over the crime scene. They paved over the damn crime scene. How are there not lawsuits against the federal government for negligence or dereliction of duty? It's not federal property. It's state property. It's the state university, Utah Valley University. So that's number one. Number two is it's not a federal investigation. It's a state investigation. This is in state courts, Utah state courts. Whether or not there could be to me, it's an opportunity for Tyler Robinson's defense team, if they choose to go that route, to say we'd like to investigate the scene and file a motion to investigate. Oh, we can't? It's been paved over? Why? When did that happen? Oh, it happened 3 days after the shooting? Why? Let me see the paperwork. So, it opens up something for the defense team should they choose to pursue it. I don't know whether they will. But if they choose to pursue it, it does. I think it does. Did you watch Valhalla yesterday when he thought Harris Faulkner asked Erica if she was a sneaker girl or bad girl? That's because what I thought they asked too. I did not watch that. And I don't know what Harris Faulkner had. Let me be honest here. I'll be honest since you put $50 in. Since turning my opinion on Erica Kirk, I have real difficulty watching her. I don't have an ounce of sympathy right now. And part of it is I saw where his hands were fried up. I have images of his hands completely sizzled and wounded. And I'm being gaslit by his wife now, who's on a mission, who's on a world tour, telling us that he got shot in the neck, and no one's asking her, well, did you take a look at his hands? Instead, what we got was a weirdly creepy video of Eric Kirk huddled over her husband's hands with so much makeup on them from the mortician, they looked like Play-Doh. It looked like the mortician rebuilt the hands with Play-Doh. And I'm an expert in Play-Doh. I have 8 children. Nobody knows more about Play-Doh than I do. Nobody. And that's what his hands look like. And so I have trouble watching her glare into the screen. She does this weird thing, and it's frankly, it's slightly demonic looking, but I'm not going to say that she's demon possessed, but it's slightly demonic looking. It's weird. But she does this weird thing where she stares into the camera and she squints her eyes. And I think it's supposed to signal like now you've really raised my ire and I'm really upset. Lady, what happened to the hands? I got to know. Because I saw the pictures. I saw what they looked like. You can't lie to me and say the hands weren't all wounded. Why were they wounded? If the autopsy was done correctly, there are pictures of those hands. I'd like to see them. You know, an autopsy isn't just a report. There's photography. There should be photographic evidence of his chest, his ribs, and his hands. And if there's not, there's chicanery. Because I've seen things on all of it. His chest, his ribs, and his hands. I've seen things that lead me to believe there should be pictures of that if the autopsy was done correctly. Was the autopsy done correctly? If not, why not? If I'm Tyler Robinson's team, I need to see those photos. Fed slop t-shirts. I would let Candace sell those. She invented the word. I'm not going to steal the word and then profit. I mean, I'm going to use the hell out of it because it's a great word, but I'm not going to sell merch that say Fed slop. I think we found Charlie Kirk's new identity. Just a humble Indiana University defense attorney who no one heard of. Now, ma'am or sir, no one had heard of me? No one? Before Charlie Kirk's death, but now with a meteoric in terms of that, yeah, nobody. Solving Charlie Kirk's, his own assassination. Now about to reunite and go max with his bestie, Candace. Oh, Candace has done yeoman's work. Nobody's led harder on this issue than she has. No one's taken more slings and arrows than she has. And guess what? I think she's right. Andrew, thank you. Generous. Wow, Techie Head, very generous. Major development, drone sniper theory by We Are Not Going to Mars on YouTube. Explains C2C6 neck damage. Charlie Kirk genuinely trying to fake his death, but they got him in the same second. That's why his mic is encased in glass at Mar-a-Lago, same as the pagers. These sickos like to gloat. Drone sniper theory. That would have to be very convincing. Thank you for the generous donation, obviously. That would have to be very convincing to me, because I have shied away from the drone angle this entire time. And the reason is because I haven't been convinced. This is the reason why I shied away from Rick Cutler and the palm gun. I wasn't convinced. Everybody, I have never seen so many people want me to cover a certain angle of a certain story than that. Drone's a close second. I'm in the U.S. Navy Echo. Oh, okay. Are you saying we had an echo earlier? Roll that beautiful bean footage. Love how most of the women comment with all their expertise and 20 years of experience watching Dateline and Netflix murder mystery dramas. feminism really did kill all hope for future gens. That's harsh. That's harsh. There's nothing about male or female that makes one better than the other at investigating crimes. No, nothing. Like if you want to talk about an arm wrestling championship or you want to go, snatch and clean and jerk for weight, yeah, I mean, men probably have a natural advantage. But even then, some women would outlift them. But most men, on average, will outlift most women on average. But the ability to instinctively know when something's not right, I think that's unfair. Because all investigating is curiosity. That's why I excel at it. No kidding. That's why I excel. Well, a ridiculously high IQ and a very curious mind. And a lot of ADD where you get on something you can't get off of it. Dog on a bone disorder, whatever that is. But I'm not sure that comment was fair, but you're a good commenter generally, so try again later. I sent you an email this week about producing for you. Let me know if you want me to resend. Go Max. I'm not quite there yet. We're very close. I don't know that I can afford anyone right now. But, if things go right, maybe the next couple of 3 months, I could get there. In the meantime, it's just one man and a mic. Oh, Allie was here tonight, so man, a woman and a mic occasionally. Baron, your blessing. We must not allow Charlie's involuntary sacrifice to go unpaid. Thanks, homie. Well, thank you, homie. Thank you. Hey, let me say something real quick about that. I think it was Allie. Somebody asked me, how do you think this ends? Or what is this going to be resolved at trial? And I said, I'll be honest, I'd be stunned if there's a trial. I mean, even if he's just in on it, in on planning it or whatever, he's still eligible for the death penalty. If he's eligible for the death penalty, he's highly incentivized to take a deal for life without. If he takes a deal for life without, they have a convict and they can close the books should they choose. And if they close the books, guess what? It doesn't matter what we say on YouTube. It's done. It's donezo. Unless Charlie Kirk's parents perhaps pursued it. His kids obviously would speak through their mother, Erica. They wouldn't pursue it. Erica's not going to pursue it. I wonder if Charlie Kirk's parents would have a cause of action. If they believed his representative was involved, could they move a court to pursue that? I don't know. That'd be very interesting. Coming in late, maybe already covered, saw a post with a list of CK's team and who they called immediately. Sound guy called AV. Is that audio video team? Why would he call them? I don't know. I didn't see that, but I don't know why he would. Retired law enforcement detective emailed you info regarding the electrocution theory. Did you receive? Guys, I receive over 1,000 emails a day most days. I open them all. They're all open. I read a lot of them. Most of them are repetitive in some way. Very few of them are super unique. Like one person says one thing. Most of them, if you say it, like 7 other people have said it. It may be a little different spin or different language, but most things have been covered. I'd say 70% of my emails I can go without reading because they just say, hey, watch this, and I don't even bother. I'm not clicking your random links, particularly if it's a downloadable movie. That's not going to happen. So those are easy to rule out. If you just send me something that says, watch this, if you send me a nice summary and here's a link to a YouTube link, if you'd like to review more, maybe pay attention around the 21-minute mark, you might get my attention. I might click it. But I after that email, after that show on the Thursday on the electrocution theory, I bet you I got 600 emails on the electrocution theory. So I don't know which one was yours. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just setting expectations going forward. This is not rude at all. I thank you for sending it to me. In all likelihood, I opened it and read it because I read a bunch of them because I wanted to see, is there any angle I don't know about? Is there some way electricity flows? Is there some differential? Is there some additional devices he might have had on his body that are not evident from the pictures? Like, was he wearing something in different locations that could have caused some sort of spark or set off some sort of chain of events? I read a lot. And I'm thankful for every one of them. I'm not saying don't send them. I'm just saying if you ask me if I got it, I don't know that I can answer that off the top of my head. I don't like the 10 on the ground theory. They could have raised it for the people in the back. Can see. UVU had a tiered audience, which was different than most of his appearances. Yeah, they could have, but they also could have just put Charlie on the ground. Like, why did they have to have Charlie 2 feet in the air? Put him on the ground. Tent stays on the ground. He was that high in the air. Why? Except for the fact that they were a bunch of... The only time I've ever seen that platform used, that was solid metal going straight down to the ground. The only time. I looked through a bunch of past Charlie Kirk experiences. Tent was on the ground every single time, even when there was stadium seating. Every single time the tent was on the ground. And every single time he was not on that metal platform. Except one. That I could find. There may be others, but I did not come across them. And I looked at a lot. Not firing security is off. Thank you for the generous donation, by the way. Is TPUSA suing for wrongful death? What cause of action would TPUSA? TPUSA wouldn't be able to sue for wrongful death unless they had some sort of. I don't think cause they would have. A vendor should be required to carry liability insurance, but keep Dan, but get the insurance as SOP. I fear they may be avoiding an insurance investigation, offsetting loss with donation influx. TPUSA has never been more flush with cash. So if you were going to try to prove damages by losing Charlie Kirk, I mean, damages would be an element. If you were going to try to prove damages by in a wrongful death case, it would be. If you're going to try to prove damages, you lose. They're sitting on between $200 and $500 million in cash right now. I'm just telling you. That's just the nature of the way these things work. They've got Erica Kirk pushing the pro-Israel message that Charlie was thinking of leaving. She was wearing a Israeli button on Fox News. She's out there telling everybody he started every week with Shabbat Shalom. I can't imagine TPUSA being in a better position than they are right now. Had Charlie Kirk lived, they would be in a substantially weaker financial position. Substantially weaker financial position. Could you research how many times Erica traveled and was not followed by Egyptians? No, I've not done any work on the Egyptian planes other than identifying some that were on the ground that day and identifying some that were in the country. I think 7 additional planes I found, other than the 2 that Candace had been tracking, and then I think she added a 3rd one that I didn't even find. Maybe I did find it, but total there's 7 or 8 different planes. But I have not cross-checked those with where anybody else was. Other people are doing that. And Candace has done a great job of that. She has some mommy sleuths out there doing it. Ian has done a great job tracking Egyptian planes. I've just not done it. I can only do so many things. I've spent weeks now preparing the last 3 episodes. The Dan Flood arm signal, the burn up hands, and the location of the tents and where we're going next time as well. So this is in the sound guy's behavior. This has been it's taken a lot of my time, and I've been doing other shows in the meantime while preparing for these shows. I don't have time for Egyptian planes. I wish I did. The chair's plastic. Plastic is an insulator. The chair back and bottom are plastic. The wire frame of the chair is in fact metal. Again, the tent raised off the ground is the amphitheater. People back can't see. Bull butter. Absolutely nonsensical argument because he had done amphitheater type arrangements before. They just didn't put him so high in the air. They didn't put him on a metal framed platform on a metal chair. It is a metal chair. It's a metal frame chair. And if you look, he's so big, his legs spill out over onto the metal frame. But I'm not suggesting he had to be grounded. There are ways to get electrocuted without being grounded. There are also ways to be electrocuted while being grounded. People have spoken. It's time for VFT, Barron, Ian Carroll, and Candace live show. That'd be a hell of a show. Because there's things we all disagree. Well, I don't know all disagree on, but I can see differences of opinion in a lot of those threads there. That would be fun. That would be fun. I was talking to somebody today. I won't say who. I was talking to somebody today about why I trust some people and not others. Maybe I'll share that story one day. It was a good. It's great. It's a great way to look at the world. Notice the lightning bolt in the logo. Yeah, we talked about there. Now, to be fair though, there were lightning bolts at the end of the last tour in the spring. They used the lightning bolt logo as well. Charlie's Angels. Is there a way we could get the super chat to your guests? Get this super chat. She has personal experience. I would love to hear if she wants to share. I can give her the $20. I don't have a problem with that. I got to make a note to do it, or I'll forget. I won't, but I don't mind passing that on to her. She was very generous with her time. She's been very generous with her time. I've leaned on her a lot. That's why I wanted to bring her in. I've asked her a lot of questions. Like I said, like I referenced in the Thursday show, I wasn't sure. A lot of people who email me are like, do not ever mention my name on air. And I wasn't sure whether she wanted to be known. So that's why I said, I don't know if she wants to be known or not, but if she does, I'll bring her on. We'll talk to her, hear from her. And she, contacted me after the show, said, yeah, let's do it. So we did it. But yeah, I'll be happy to send the super chat. And she did talk about the electrocution, if that's the personal experience you're talking about. Isn't it ironic the banner, prove me wrong, along the bottom of the tent, has a lightning bolt? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lightning. You guys got it. See, I got the smartest audience in America. Other people can claim it. Other people can try to take that. No. Nothing gets past Matt Ciccone. No. 100% same sound dude from the UVU video. I don't know what you're talking about. But the sound dude in the UVU video was the sound guy in several other videos, yeah. Shabbat Shalom. But this Sunday, that doesn't work. Shabbat Shalom is Friday night to Saturday night. That's a normal phrase I use daily. Well, it's not. Okay. I believe you. Great deep dive. Electrocuted is a wild theory. I can't disprove it yet. DFQ. What does that mean? Dairy Queen? Dairy freaking Queen? For $50, I'm going to look it up. I don't want to mistake you. DFQ, design for quality? Process to build quality into a product from the start? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, differential equation, maybe? What does DFQ mean in slang? De blank? Oh, you're trying to get me to say an ugly word. No, sir, not live on air. No, we're not doing it. Thank you, Panther. Look, I don't have a problem with people who say Shabbat Shalom. I just find it interesting that that's the emphasis when the last few conversations we're aware of Charlie Kirk had, he was leaving the pro-Israeli cause. That's the only thing that worries me. Like, I've been to the Shabbat Shalom service, and I had to say Shabbat Shalom, and I had to wear a hat. This was in law school. This would have been 20 plus years ago in Bloomington, Indiana. I don't even remember why we went. I don't think we were invited. I don't know why we ended up going, but it was fine. People were nice. Everybody was very friendly. So I don't have a problem with the phrase itself. I just think it's interesting timing to deploy the phrase in light of Charlie Kirk saying I might have to leave the pros later the cause. I think they're trying to kill me, and then he dies. Oh, Shabbat Shalom. Security team job was to fake it. They were successful, but a drone sniper got him at the exact same time. Easy to time the shot when everybody is using hand signals. I'm interested about this drone sniper. I've not heard about it. I'm interested. It looks like Terryl is wearing gloves to take camera. Oh, I hadn't looked at that. I'd have to go back and find that. I've closed that out. That's a good call if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Charlie's Angels. Andrew Faraci, one photographer, said he was put in a room till the campus was cleared with others, and feds have his footage. Why did the feds take Faraci's footage but not McClintock's? McClintock, I don't believe, was ever put in a room. He ran out through the tunnel with everybody else that ran out, and the only reason I know he ran out through the tunnel is because he was seen on a video. He could be seen on a video running out of that tunnel. So I don't know. Who's Andrew Faraci? That name sounds familiar. Does he work for TPUSA? Or was he just a photographer that was there that day? I don't know. That name sure sounds familiar, though. But that's my guess of why. We need to see the power source and microphone. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that microphone might be on display at TPUSA or Mar-a-Lago or both. It seems to be making the rounds. Canuck Bucks. Always good to see a collab. Only when regular people unite to expose the rotten corruption amongst the elite are we successful. Amazing work, you two. Hey, here's my thing. If somebody gives me information, I want to shower the world on them. Or if somebody's awesome, like Brandy and Billy, they had that live feed with the TPUSA guy, the whistleblower, talking about them all going out drinking and carrying on. Go watch it. Go watch it. Just like when they had Charles McClintock Wilson on. I said, go watch it. Subscribe to their channel. And now they're doing lives. I am all for people growing a brand. I mean, most of you wouldn't be here if Ian hadn't stumbled across my page and then done like a show on it and said, you guys should watch this guy. You guys ended up here. I don't mind passing the love on. Allie does great work. She has sent me a ton of material. Love the uniting and sources dynamic on the show. Can I get an amen? Amen. Amen. Maybe one day I'll do a history of the word amen. Portable stages like the one he was on come standard with a rugged carpet or tough coat. They are non-conductive by design. You can see the cover on. Wait, what? Huh? What are you talking about? I got to look that up too. What are you talking about? Portable stages like the one he was on. You talking about that little metal thing he was on? Samus, can you send me an email elaborating and maybe an example? realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Put in the title portable stage non-conductive or something like that in all caps that I'll see it. Y'all don't steal my non-cap idea. I'll be pissed if I'm going through here and I see a bunch of non-caps that say portable stage, unless you're sending me portable stages with the non-conductive stuff. But if that's true, I need to see that. That's a game changer if that's true. Great opening. So sad about the recent tragedies, but we got to stay on track. Thank you, Baron. Go back. Yeah, if we didn't, you know what? It would put people in danger. I'll let that soak in before I repeat it. And I'm going to repeat it for the a-hole who emailed me so horrifically, calling me an idiot for constantly repeating myself. If we allowed tragedies to completely derail this investigation, it will put future people in jeopardy, because here's what will happen. Every time there's a big story and we're getting close to cracking it, there'll be a tragedy. Everyone will run off to the new tragedy. They'll forget about the thing we were about to crack. Can't do it. I feel bad for the people of Australia. It's tragedy, horrible tragedy. I feel bad for the people of Brown University. It's horrific. All loss of innocent life is tragic. Doesn't matter what country or what continent. But we are getting places on this Charlie Kirk investigation. We're really getting places. How do I know? Because they have amplified the attack. They've amplified the propaganda. They've amplified potentially the side activities that lead to the loss of life. We've gone to AmeriFest the last 3 years. This is the first year we're not. Why are there lightning bolts on the banner at UVU? The symbol is an arrow. Satanists are absolved if they tell you what they're doing. Oh, is that true? Is that true? Absolved by whom? Only God can absolve. Why would God absolve people for Satanistic activity and damaging humans? Without repentance, of course. 2014 singer Agustin Briolini died in Argentina after touching a microphone that became live due to a voltage imbalance with his guitar. Suffered shocks as well. Yeah, voltage imbalance on different grounding networks, I hear, can cause a tremendous damage. Yeah. I read Brian Farnsworth, brother of Terryl, is the AV guy in the white 1776 hat. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true. I do have a name of the guy that I think it is, and it's not Brian Farnsworth. But thank you for your email, and thank you for your generous Canuck bucks. Brandy and Billy, we're late. Are you going to bring up the photo of the audience on 910? No, I'm not, because I'm not 100% convinced that is who we think it is, and I don't want to plant that seed. But I encourage other people to, because it's a fun story. That's your story, girl. Go get it. Go get it. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bitty birdie in the background back there. I don't know if you can see it. Need to verify the microphone had a cable to soundboard. Need to see the power source. Need to run sound through AI to determine where it came from. Need to verify a shape charge wasn't used. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be verified. The first thing that needs to be verified is that someone in a position to help is on our side. Tyler's defense team, Utah County Sheriff, Utah County Police, Utah Valley University Police, Orem Police, State Police, FBI. If none of those people are on our side, it's going to be difficult to get anywhere on these theories. But if I'm a judge, I sign the warrant. Oh, his hands were sizzled up? Yeah, go get the autopsy pictures. I want to see it. Oh, his hands were sizzled up? Yeah, go get the phones of the sound guy. Oh, his hands were sizzled up? I want every security person's information. Why? Because no one's mentioned it. It's suspicious. No one's mentioned it because they didn't think we saw it. They thought they wrapped up the body and got it into the van before anybody saw anything. I'm confident. And here's how I know that. It was almost a sandbag play. And I don't think he meant to do it this way. But Charles didn't put those pictures up for weeks. He put the first pictures up of the Charlie getting out of the van and coming in. He put the second group of pictures up of what he called the last whatever of Charlie, like right up to the moment of death. But he didn't put the aftermath photos up for several weeks. And so if you knew Charlie's hands were all burnt up, and then you looked at every available photo and video and you didn't see any burnt up hands, you think, we got him out of there. Nobody caught it. And then Charles puts the pictures up and people start looking at him and think, why do his hands look like that? Although if C is not browned yet, there might not be an order of evidence preservation until an insurance investigation is complete. I don't know what you're talking about. Good luck to you. Thank you. Camera guy behind the tent is shady. He knew too. I fell down that rabbit hole one time. Did we all remember to click the like button? If you didn't, please do. There's 16,806 of you here present with us and accounted for. That should be 16,806 likes. Let me look at the video. Does that... We are well short of that, ladies and gentlemen. Please, by all means, click the like button. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to do a $1,000 giveaway when I hit 100,000. I'm going to find a fair way to do it. At present, I am 3,784 people away. So I should hit it in the next couple of days. Go hit the subscribe button, and then I'll find a fair way. I'll find a fair way to do it. I don't know how to do it. But I'll find a fair way to find somebody and give $1,000 gift card away, whether it's on a live show or we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to do a $1,000 giveaway when we hit 100,000 people, and we are 3,700 and change people away from that. So hopefully by the next show, or maybe 2 shows, we'll be there. And then we'll talk as a family about how to do that fairly. Was it confirmed the photo of Tyler at DQ was from 9/10? Superman came out in July, so was that promo poster for the movie still in there in September? I have not confirmed it, but I have heard people who claim to have confirmed it because the Superman promo at Dairy Queen did not end until the next week. So the poster in all likelihood would have still been there. Are people just crazy now for not, dare I say it, wanting some damn transparency in an investigation? I knew who Charlie Kirk was, never went out of my way to watch his content, but was he a threat to who? You going to need me to say it? Who wants to tell her? Hold, please. Woo! That was close. Oh, that was close. I don't want to be the one to say it. But Charlie Kirk was a threat to the well, I mean, look at your name. War is a Racket. The greatest book ever written by General Smedley Butler. Look, it's available for free on PDF. If you've never read a book called War is a Racket, it's like 2 bathroom sittings. It's only like 40 or 50 pages. You can download it for free. It's on PDF. Might even be on HTML. Google War is a Racket. Find a link, open it up, and read it. Take you an hour, maybe. It'll tell you everything you need to know about why Charlie Kirk is dead. Tell you everything you need to know about why Donald Trump was so vociferously opposed the first go-round. And why he's basically supported now. We're about to be on a two-front war with Iran and Venezuela. Or didn't you know? Sound guy's reacting like a scared executioner. Wow, that's a really dark description, but not inaccurate. Watch the guy directly behind Hunter Kozak when he gives the signal. I don't have it pulled up, but I trust you guys could find that video. It's just a video of Hunter Kozak talking. I'll have to go back and look at it. Lightning bolt logos, that's correct. Thank you, Craig. Generous. Could the gunshot sound come through the speakers to imitate it? I've thought about that. I don't think so. But think about this. It's not necessary for the guy on the Losi Center to have taken a shot. It's only necessary for the guy on the Losi Center to be seen running away. And he wasn't initially seen running away. I think much to his dismay, probably. Assume he's in on it, and it's an op. That's why the video was released from the Hall of Flags. So you can see the guy running away. Because that now, again, furthers the narrative that it was a gunshot, and we might know where it came from. I think the cracked thump analysis indicates something was fired. But what and where, I think, is up for debate. If you listen to the guy on Trigger Smart, he thinks something was shot into the back of that van where the lid came up and then went right back down. Allie, I'm behind, but I commented on X that showed the white-gray marks on the microphone that could be indicative of oxidation related to your theory. I would like to see that. Could you, Allie, forward that to me when you get a chance? Ashfall. And Ashfall, let me ask you a question. Anywhere on this page you see my name under the screen or anywhere? Watch this. Watch this real quick. See that name that pops up in the lower left-hand corner? How many R's are in that name? Oh, sorry. I need you to make sure you read and watch the vids I sent in the email titled, People Keep Telling Me to Email You About This. Don't read live. Well, I did read it live. Chances are if people keep telling you to email me about it, I've seen it. And if it's a guy in a white shirt shaking his hands, that's not a cell phone gun. If it's a guy in a tan shirt pulling on a sleeve, that's not a palm gun. That rules out about 70% of the emails I get. Cam next to sound guy points directly at Charlie Kirk's neck. Possible hidden gun a la the bodyguard. Would only need to be a small projectile at that range. Stay tuned, young grasshopper. We're going to look at some other anomalies in a few weeks, or a few episodes, maybe the end of this week, early next. I've got some episodes plotted out. We're going to look at some anomalies, and one of those anomalies is the girl on the camera that's pointed directly at his neck. Over the top, $242, $10. Why do you have such a knot in your head about Rick Cutler? The timing is uncanny. Holy mackerel. I just commented on this. It's like 70% of the emails I get are Rick Cutler and shaking hand guy in a white t-shirt. He does his strange movement at the same time as Dan Flood. Doesn't have to be palm gun, but something. He's in on it. Of course he's in on it. He was in the van with the burn up hands. Of course he's in on it, in my opinion. In my opinion. Of course he's in on it, in my opinion. Could have been signaling something. I don't believe he shot him with a palm gun. That's just... Terryl, Blake, Mickey, sound guy, and cameraman next to Terryl are all looking down moment after the signal. Not just sound guy. It's like they couldn't look at their guilt in action if guilty. Interesting, Steelers girl. I'll have to go back and look at that. Terryl, Blake. Okay. Sound guy and cameraman next to Terryl. I know who you're talking about. The guy in the green LA hat. Black guy in the green LA hat. All looking down. Yeah. Or maybe they were looking down to watch a switch get flipped. I don't know. Opinion. Thank you. That was a good call. I'll go back and look at that. Wait, Brian said he lost his phone the second he jumped on Charlie. Brian Harpole. Is that right? Yeah, and Frank said he was on FaceTime the whole time. I'd like to see that phone call record. Because he didn't look like he was on FaceTime moments before the shot. What, did he dial it up while he's running away? That'd be interesting to see. Baron, I emailed you a lengthy Claude conversation that analyzes their projectile versus electrocution. You're both spot on. I appreciate you both. I appreciate Claude. Claude's great. Thank you. There are lots of evidence to suggest our best ally is likely behind this and other things, but that's the point. They get to drum up censorship, but they want us to know. They use it against us. Damn shame, just asking questions. Yeah, I don't know who's behind it. I just am starting to believe that there's a case that the electrocution hypothesis needs to be investigated. That's what I'm beginning to believe. There's a moment just before the shot in certain clips that you can audibly hear someone say, "Stay down." I only ever saw one. That was on the clip I played tonight. Go back and listen. I don't know if it was loud enough, but that was on that clip I played tonight. The one that it's kind of offset, so it'd be like Charlie's 1 o'clock. That camera that's facing in on the stage from there. That's the video where you can hear someone say, "Stay down," right as he's doing the sign. So I don't know. If prosecutors can drop cases in the interest of justice, then the justice system needs to releases the autopsy and statements from everyone in that SUV in the interest of justice. Yeah, but they're still prosecuting the case, so they're not going to do that. That's just unlikely at this moment. Did I see Jimmy Dore Friday? I think so. Was that the one Candace was on? Even Grok doesn't believe the FBI story. They asked Grok to analyze oh, no, I did see that as well. They asked Grok to analyze the videos and ask Grok's opinion. Grok's analysis was close to it being electrocution. I did see that. Jimmy's close. Jimmy's great. I like Jimmy's show. I think he summarizes material in a very entertaining way. The guy that's on the show with him is freaking hysterical. Got a great sense of humor. Knows what. I've had many sidekicks. I've had, 5 or 6 radio sidekicks. The best sidekick knows when to come in and when not to come in. That's what makes a good sidekick. And I sidekick for people. So I know I wasn't always a good sidekick because I came in sometimes too often. You know when to come in and when not to come in. Jimmy's sidekick is flawless, dude. He's great. He's great. Do you think maybe the magnificent Mikey McCoy knew about it but wasn't fully on board, so walking away was all he could do to cope? You know what they call people who are aware someone's about to be murdered and don't stop it and just go along with it to get along? They call them murderers. Felony murder is the charge. Yeah, he's in on it, basically. If he was aware, anyone who is aware there's a complex plan to either have Charlie shot or electrocuted or killed in some other way, neck broken in the van or neck broken under the table, we'll examine the dots on his arm in the next show or two to look for electrocution potentially that way, or a stun gun. Anyone who is in on it and didn't stop it, in my opinion, should be charged with murder. Just my opinion. Hand signal explanation. Think AED training. Each person is positioned in a different area and signals their area is clear of potential casualties before delivering the shock. Squinty blue eyes. Blue eyes lie. Squinty blue eyes lie. Yes, they do. In this particular case. In my opinion. Can I just blanket everything I should put a disclaimer up when I post this video that just says everything I say is my opinion. I don't know if that would work. Yeah, that could be. Like nobody's touching the tent. Nobody's in the way. Stay down. Stay down. Yeah, could be. Sent email and video. PETN lapel mic set off by hot mic. Misfired. Shows PETN and says like a 30-06. Need multiple methods for certain death. I do believe there was more than one method deployed. I do believe there was more than one method deployed. They were not going to take a shot at Charlie and miss. Sadly, normies don't care enough. JFK, in my opinion, JFK fascinates me, suggesting this is our modern day version and it's playing out the same. Government is covering up and TPUSA as well, not a stretch at all. Yeah, it's funny to me that Brian Harpole on the Sean Ryan show even said, "I didn't want this to be a modern JFK." Bro, who thinks about that? Like in the wake of an immediate wake of a murder, and you're already talking about how people would position this as a giant conspiracy theory? Tells me there's something to that. But puzzling me why CK security turned and went to him The only guy who reacted normally was the uniform officer that made a radio call, looks in the crowd, has his hands on his weapon. Yeah, except private security and law enforcement should be focused on two different things. So I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I don't know that that puzzles me. Let me say that. It could puzzle you. I don't know that it puzzles me. Thank you, Chantel Sherry. Charlie's Angels, why did the feds take everyone else's footage but not Charles? Isn't he related to Senator Tom McClintock and it was days later? I don't know what that means. I don't know who he's related to or if he's related to anybody. I haven't talked to him about that and I haven't heard that. I don't know that they took everyone else's footage. I mean, several cell phone cameras have leaked out. Several images have leaked out. But I think they did take some. This for Allie, we love you. Look at my MPO that loves you, Guardians of Equality. Hope she's watching. Hey, Baron, as a former ER nurse, it's not typical to have patients go straight into a surgical suite. I know I probably don't know using that word correctly. I just think that might be the dumbest thing you've ever heard it called. But I'm just thinking of like the area under the doctor's control. That's kind of, I mean, I've had surgery. I destroyed my lower leg one time and had to go into surgery. And I even though I got Versed, I do remember being in there. And I remember it was very cold and very, very white and bright. I remember that. Very cold and very bright. Not the place you want to be naked. Very cold, very bright. Here, get naked. But yeah, it's he'd have gone from into ER trauma room first to assess him, and then perhaps they'd contact the OR. Well, that's not the story he told. That's not the story he told. And is that true if a guy's bleeding out of his neck and has a broken neck? Or do they just kind of like put you in the closest room where they might be able to do something? I don't know. Had they let an EMT assist immediately, they could have put a neck collar brace on him with a bandage against the wound with constant pressure. Charlene on a backboard, which is proper EMT. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't make a 911 left phone at scene per Sean Ryan show. Yeah, but there were 4 other people in that car. And he said on the Sean Ryan show, they made a 911 call. So that's not quite complete there. Thank you, Chantel Sherry. $5 is the undisclosed photo of Charlie Kirk's contorted neck eliminate the possibility of him still being alive? Yes, in my opinion. I think his neck was just destroyed at the scene somehow. Either electrocution injury where he tenses up so much that he breaks it. Option 1. Option 2, somebody could have broken it under the table, as gruesome as that sounds. With a C2 break, that it is suggestive of a strangulation wound. And then the third possibility is he did get shot in the neck and the bullet fractured vertebrae. Now, how you fracture a C2 by getting shot on a downward angle about the C4, C5, C6 level, I don't know. But I'm raising the issue that it's probably one of those 3 things. But yeah, his neck was dangling. Wasn't close. If his neck was broken, it's probably from Dan Flood throwing him onto that case. I don't know that would have broken his neck. I don't know that would have broken his neck. Great work, Baron. Quick question. Is it possible to fall from the chair with CK calls? Good. Well, 2 of you have. I don't think the C1 was broken. That would be a very unusual break. The C2, 3. Again, if you read about C2 breaks, they're very common in strangulations, not as common in like whiplash breaks and things like that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm not a whatever doctors would deal with neck breaks. So I can't answer that. I mean, I can't answer hypothetical questions relative to falls from 4 feet high onto plastic cases, whether that would break your neck. I wouldn't think so. But it's not that far of a fall. Thank you, Lethal. Appreciate that. Kathy, $50. Wow, thank you. Candace went over the SD card situation on one of her earlier episodes regarding this. She called the guy that took it. He didn't know how to email it to her, really. He also had not turned the SD card over. I thought he had, but I will go back and review that episode. How about that? Thank you. Very generous donation, though. $10. Thank you. 20. Lynn Maria, I so wish you were licensed in Utah to represent Tyler Robinson's defense. He'd have to hire me. I can't afford to do it solo, pro bono. Actually, I could help on a team pro bono. Here's the dirty little secret. I wouldn't even have to be licensed in Utah, but it would also prevent me from covering it. Which I would give that up. I would give up the right to cover it if I was on the defense team. And I would give up the right to talk about it in any capacity. I think it's that important. I think a young man's life is at risk. Do I want Tyler Robinson to be declared not guilty and run free? I don't know. I don't know that the answer to that question is yes. If he was involved in any way where he thought he was showing up and Charlie Kirk was going to leave dead, no, I don't want him to walk free. I mean, that's just a fact. If Tyler Robinson showed up in Orem, Utah that day expecting to be part of a team where Charlie Kirk would not make it out alive, then he needs to go to prison for a long time, if not life or death. I'm not a fan of the death penalty. I don't believe in it, but he needs to get the maximum. I don't know that that's true. I would have to look at the evidence. No evidence I've seen right now indicates he killed Charlie Kirk. None. If they omitted his burnt hands, is it possible the neck was never fractured? It's possible the guy in the bush fired a suppressed 22. Here's the. I don't think the guy in the bush fired a suppressed 22. If the guy in the bush was doing anything, he was flying a drone. That's my honest to God opinion. If the guy in the bush was doing anything related to the Charlie Kirk the Charlie Kirk assassination, he was flying a drone. Because the bush would provide shade, and he would be able to see the screen. If you've ever seen people fly drone, and he would be shielded from people seeing what he's doing. If you've ever seen people fly drones, they take caution to shade their screen, and if they're in a large crowd, maybe and if they're trying to be surreptitious, they don't want to be seen. I don't know that he was flying a drone. I have not seen definitive evidence a drone was in the air. I've seen lots of things that could be drones, could be micro drones, could be bugs. I don't know. But I've not seen definitive evidence there was a drone in the air at the time Charlie Kirk was neutralized. I don't think he was shot with a suppressed 22. I watch a lot of true crime and police cam shows. I've never seen such poor handling of an assassination. The negligence is criminal. Thank you for your videos. You've become a household favorite. Well, thank you, blessed Beth Ann. I don't know that I've seen anything so poorly done as well. Thank you for your generous donation. Baron watched a based video by Liberty Lockdown. You should take up his invite to go on his pod. Been loving your explosive takes. Keep on match. I don't know how to get in touch with him. That's the problem. I have no idea how to get in touch with him. I looked for contact information. I couldn't find any. I would love to do. I watched several videos after somebody mentioned a week or two ago that I should go on with him. Someone mentioned, hey, you should go on with Liberty Lockdown. I said, I don't know that I've ever heard of the guy. I went and watched him, and I thought, how have I not heard of this guy? The guy's dope. I mean, he's great on air. I would love to go on with him. Flood his chat. Give him my email address, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Give him that. Flood his chat. Maybe I'll pay a super chat and give him the email next time I see him live. But he's phenomenal. I'd love to go on with that dude. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Wiggles, that is not electric blue, unless that was some awesome Oscar Wilde wordplay. Thanks, Johnny, 2 times. So you're referencing my shirt here. Thank you, unbelievably generous, Veronica, to tell me I'm wrong about the color of the sweatshirt I purchased. You're saying this is not electric blue. I think if I turned off that light, there is a gigantic light right on the other side of this camera. I mean, it's no kidding. It's this big. Might even be bigger than that. It might be this big. It's a massive light. That light is flooding everything. It's like you pull up and there's a Dodge Ram facing you on a 2-lane winding road. And it's got the white beams on. It's just searing your eyes with x-rays. That's what this light feels like every night when I do this show. And I think it's flooding out the colors. That's why you guys were making fun of my washed crimson the other day. I think it's flooding out that it is blue, but it kind of looks lavender under this intense heat, under this intense light. So thank you. I'm doing my best over here. I'm trying to be bright enough that you guys can see me. Your opening statement and lawyer's wit is what sets you apart from my other 2 favorites, Ian and Candace. May God bless you. Well, thank you. How not to game. Thank you for the generous donation and thank you for the kind words. I like the opening statement. I haven't always done that on a podcast. I used to do it quite a bit and then I kind of got away from it. Now I'm back to it. It's a chance just to think. I already have tomorrow's written, or Tuesdays, whatever day, or Wednesday, whatever day I decide to go live. I already have it written, though, and I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot. Unless big news changes, that's the one you're going to get. I was going to do it tonight, and then I changed in light of the news. TPUSA set the evidence to refute this theory based on perception. Microphone on display, perfect condition, casket video, CK's hands too small. Yes. Check. And thank you for the $5 donation. That's a perfect comment. Thank you. Check your email. Let's blanking go Max Bednars. Is that you, Blake? West Texas is the best Texas? I will check it. Let's go. I like Blake a lot. I think his work is phenomenal. Big fan of Blake Bednars. Is Hunter a transgender man? A FTM? Hunter Kozak? No. He's a dude. I think. I can't tell these days. What are other people saying about this theory? Have the defense or prosecution contacted you? No, and I don't anticipate they will. For all the people, let me say this. The probably the third most common email I got over the weekend was, you should contact the defense team. I have done that one time in my life where I contacted a defense team, and I ended up joining the defense team. It was in state. It was when I was living in Florida. And I'm licensed in Florida. So I was living down there. I was licensed down there. I contacted a defense team. I don't want to say what case. Probably could dig a little and find it, but it was outside of Orlando. And I contacted him. I said, hey, I think I have a defense that you're not raising that your defendant could use. And the lawyer called me back. I was kind of shocked. This was 15 years ago. No, you're not that far ago. Yeah, about 15 years ago. Lawyer called me back and said, let me hear it. And I said, here's the defense I would raise if I were your client's, I don't want to say her name, your client's lawyer. I would say X, Y, and Z. And here's how I would prove it. And here's the questions I would ask the prosecution. Here's how I would try to get certain evidence excluded. And here's why I think it would win. The woman was facing 30 years in prison. She got 6 months probation, terminable upon taking a class, a public interest class. She took the deal on a Monday, took the class on a Friday, and her probation was terminated the following Monday. She ended up getting 7 days probation. She was facing 30 years in prison. So it's not unheard of that a lawyer would contact another defense team, but it's the only time I've ever done it in my life. And I only did it because I thought they're wasting this woman's life. She will be convicted if I don't call them. And I knew I could help them, and I knew I could help her. So that's why I did it. I don't anticipate ever contacting the defense team, particularly since I'm covering this from a quasi-journalistic perspective. I think that would be a gross distortion of the line between journalism and law practice. And I think the bar would think very, very poorly of it. Now, if they contacted me, I would talk to them. If they call me on my, little green phone and they say, curious about this electrocution thing, what are you thinking? What would you do? I would talk to them, but I would also disclose it. So they may not want to talk to me because I would want to continue covering it, and I would not want to have consulted with one side and not disclosed it. See what I'm saying? So I would disclose it and say, hey, I talked to Tyler Robinson's lawyers. Here's what I told them. Actually, I might not tell you what I told them, and I might not tell you what they asked, but I would tell you I talked to them. So if I don't tell you that, I haven't talked to them, and I'm not going to reach out to them, and I doubt they'll reach out to me. So there you go. Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Diane Mooneyham. If this theory is true, wouldn't the hair on his head be frazzled by electricity? I didn't notice if it was. One of the big emails I got were people slowing down videos or on GIFs or pictures showing his hair moving. So other people saw it, and it doesn't necessarily mean his hair would go like on end. He's not going to look like Doc Brown. Great Scott. No, it's not that. It's a little motion. Erica's Town Hall, 66,858 views and only 926 likes on CBS News YouTube channel. To be fair, it was on network television. I'm anticipating millions of people already watched it. Why would they go back to YouTube and watch it again? That said, this show in all likelihood will surpass it in the next hour or two. And I will dance on that news. I'll act like YouTube is the only place you could watch it. Because it's the only place you can watch this. I sent an email pointing to vid files to review in slow-mo. Can see sequence of impact creating neck wound, necklace flying, and electro moment. Sent email pointing to vid files to review in slow-mo. Can see sequence of impact creating neck wound. I would be stunned, Sarah, if you have something I haven't seen in terms of slow-mo, neck impact, wound, anything like that. That would really shock me. Like, I would be just beside myself if that's true. Also, looks like Frank T is keeping his eyes on 1776 very intently the whole time. I noticed that. Thank you. New development, tweet from Erica stating she and Candace are meeting tomorrow for an in-person private meeting. Candace has responded, hoping for some answers. What? 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 Is that true? Oh, it is true. Mackerel. Well, I'm going to pull it up. You guys can stay tuned, and I'll bring it in here. This is unbelievable news. Check this out. Now, you tell me why this is happening. You tell me why this is happening. There. Make it as big as possible so you guys can see it. Erica Kirk 1 hour ago said, Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th. Candace and I have agreed that public discussions, live stream, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you. Candace said, I very much looking forward to this discussion. So a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th, that likely would rule out you guys are so funny. That likely would rule out Candace doing a show tomorrow, I would think. Unless Erica is coming here first thing in the morning. But I don't know whether that's true. By here, I don't mean my house. I mean Nashville. This is a positive development. Anyone who would poo-poo this for any reason whatsoever are out of their minds. This is an absolute positive development. And I think if they really thought Candace was out of her damn mind, would not be happening. Now, whether she gets threatened into silence, I don't know. I haven't been invited to a private in-person meeting. I haven't been invited. I watched the Barry Weiss, Erica Kirk town hall. I'll never get that 49 minutes back. I don't have an ounce of sympathy either. Yeah, I've lost respect. I'm gonna have to start. I'm at the 2 hour 15 minute mark. I'm gonna have to start being a little selective on the supers I get to. Why say he would? Now I want you guys to know, if you send a super, I read it. Every single one of these I read. I get a list of all of them. I read them all. But as far as the ones I can show on air towards the end of the program, I have to get a little selective. Just a little though. And I try to hit the big ones for sure. Anything $10-20 or more, I try to get to no matter what. Why say he was shot if he was electrocuted? Why not just say it was a freak accident, died of electrocution? There's recent incidents of such. Because it doesn't have a chilling effect on other people. Might be nothing, but in Harpole interview on Sean Ryan, Brian refers to the video team as the audio team, but quickly corrects himself. If electrocution theory is true, their job was audio, not video that day. Yeah, maybe. Let me go back to this real quick. Also, if you are investigating this as an accidental electrocution, you have to have a plausible reason why it would have happened. It's almost impossible to accidentally electrocute someone to death. It happens, but usually it's some kind of gross negligence. And if you're electrocuting Charlie Kirk to death by mistake, and you have to make sure he's going to die. So if you hide the fact that he was electrocuted, you could finish them off under the table. You could finish them off in the SUV. You could finish them off in the surgical suite. If you are going to stage an electrocution and then break his neck under the table or in the SUV, or you're going to zap him with a taser under the table, that's not going to look as good. That's not going to look as good. Breaking. Yep. Saw that. Good call. I'm like I said, I'm hopeful. Do you still believe the whole military informant story? You inferred you feared for your life. Vets are saying it's BS, case of stolen valor. I saw Valhalla's comment that he thought it was BS and stolen valor. I'm not saying the story was 100% correct. I'm saying I trust that Candace attempted to verify the guy's story. And if so, then he was able to provide at least plausible evidence that he was where he said he was. And where he was before Charlie Kirk was neutralized. And there happened to be a SAM flight there that day. Now, if he photoshopped everything, made it up, pulled off some ridiculous thing, yeah, obviously I don't believe it, but I don't recall. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Her podcast made a lot of news. I don't recall anybody coming out and saying, I wasn't there that day. That's a lie. I was in Texas. I wasn't there that day. That's a lie. I was in Colorado. I wasn't there that day. That's a lie. I was in Utah. That's a lie. I wasn't there. Nobody said that. Brian Harpole could have easily blasted that nuke right out of the sky by saying that, and he didn't, that I'm aware of. Wait, you have 8 kids. Oh, come on. Live a little. Isn't it possible EK did the weird video kissing hands to dispel any potential questions that his hands were burnt? Yes. Yes, very possible. Very possible. Thank you. Legend. Thank you, Ox. Calox. That's a very generous donation. Thank you. Dan's Flood's performance was always on metal legs, just like Charlie's. That day it was totes instead. I didn't know that. I'll have to go back and look. That's interesting, if true. That's very interesting and telling. I think Aussie Lady meant phonetics. Bond I, not Bondi. Anyway, Top Work Baron, you and some of your famous subs are smashing this doo-doo show to pieces. Thank you. And B-O-N-D-I is Bondi. I don't care where you are. Hey, do you think they could have faked the blood? Apologies if you are going over this. Love your stuff. Could they have? Yes. Did they? I don't think so. But they could have. Just saw EK on X announce in-person meeting on Monday with Candace. Yep. Said discussion, live stream, tweets on hold until, it's just one day. She doesn't go on air until 4 o'clock in the afternoon anyway. So the only thing she would possibly miss is tomorrow afternoon's episode. We'll see if she decides to go live tomorrow in light of her conversation. Hopefully it goes well. Look, I hope for resolution. I get the feeling that Tyler Robinson legal team is working for him. They don't seem to have his interest at all. They seem to be working for TPUSA. I don't know that. I don't know what they're doing. You can't say that. I don't necessarily 100% trust that they're working for him, but you can't say that. At best, she married for money. At status, at worst, she was in on it. Your opinion. Stacy, thank you. Sent you information on Dan Flood. He is in Israel, seen on BBC Security Team, Australia 2017. Look it up. I've seen where that's been reported. I've not seen where that's been confirmed. Charlie's Easy Up as the logo, a lightning bolt with the motto, prove me wrong. This seems familiar to the way they shaved a microphone for their museum. Thank you. Love your energy and channel. Blessings to you and yours. Thanks. Thank you, Box Cow Fish. Those are words I never thought I'd say. Now, the highly conductive silver necklace and golden ring flying off makes sense. Hey, let me tell you something about that golden ring real quick. And a very astute emailer pointed this out. The ring comes off his ring finger, and then it pauses on his pinky finger. And it's not until he lets go that the ring then continues falling. So it falls off his ring finger. Why would it not continue to the ground? What force of nature might hold it to the pinky? Ever thought of that? Anybody ever noticed that? I went back and watched it. He's right. The ring falls off the ring finger, pauses for about a second, and then he lets go and the ring keeps going. Whatever was causing his hand to grip, at the same time, the ring seemed to stop. That's telling to me. At this point, where do you place odds? Tyler Shooter, what percent? Electrocuted percent chance, great work. I put a 0.5% chance Tyler's the shooter. Maybe 0.1%. I put 0.1% chance Tyler's the shooter. I put electrocution at well over half. And then any number of other ways, other things could have gone wrong. I would fill up the rest of that. So that's where I am. I was a deputy coroner. Yes, pictures of everything should be available from the coroner, not just the autopsy. Utah is a medical examiner state, so those functions are done by separate offices. Well, that is very good to know, Truth Seeker. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your generous donation. Isn't Sam Parker being sued by Cash's girlfriend? Wondering if that could be linked to him making some breakthrough on this case. I think he is being sued, as a matter of fact. I'm pretty sure you're right about that. I don't know if that's linked to anything. Did I clock that Flood sets down a bag under Charlie right before they started? That's leaning on one of the legs on Charlie's chair. Sunday nights with Barron's my new favorite. Keep going, Max. I did not clock that. I am going to go back now and look at that after I take a picture of your comment, because this is how I remember things. I'm going to go back and look at that now. And that's fascinating. That's really fascinating. Sent you info on 1776 guy, evangelical, impossible French ties. I like French fries myself, but his St. Michael pendant exploded. She said she gifted it to him and he was wearing it on that day. Notice she never says the name Jesus. Does she not? Is that true? I don't know the answer to that. I will admit that the idea that something on that necklace exploded and propelled it violently upwards at an incredible rate of speed occurred to me. That definitely occurred to me. Especially when I saw a picture of the pendant and there's a gigantic tube running right down the middle of it. And it wouldn't have been hard to have two of them made. Have one made, it explodes, goes up, we collect it or pave over it, one or the other. And then we put the new one on, and now we have his necklace back in the shape it should have been. It occurred to me. Cameraman behind the stage also steps out with his camera as soon as Hunter looks that direction and touches his glasses. After shot, he backs up casually and walks away. Connected Hunter? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, we'll get to this. What do I have a theory on the two marks of his arm? Yes. I absolutely do, and we'll talk about it. Let me look here. Here we go. What about the Kushners? Charles is the ambassador to France. Jared was in Egypt and Ukraine won over the last 3 months in strong ties to Israel. I think they're involved. Candace went hard after Jared too. I hadn't even considered it, to be honest with you. Had not even been considering it. Charlie was hit in the neck with an air whipple from the bushes to the left as the zapping occurred, then leaned over the bin and drained. What's an air whipple? Air whipple. Like a Whipple supercharger? I don't know what that means. Like a bolus of air flying through the crowd? Do they make such a thing that can penetrate skin? At the same time, Dan does the arm signal, brown shirt, Ray-Ban. Yes. He's not pulling a trigger. It's Bondi. I know you guys say that, but you're wrong. I can't help it. You don't know how to pronounce your own cities. I have not been able to confirm Erica was married. I confirmed she had a boyfriend, which is not unusual. She's a pretty girl. Let's see here. Just a thought about the sound man turning his head at the exact time the bang happened. As a carpenter, that is the exact moment I make. That's the exact movement I make as I wipe sweat off my face on my sleeve at work because my hands are always busy. Could be. That's what I'm saying. Just needs to be investigated. I'm not accusing the man of doing anything. And it's an opinion. In my opinion, it looked very suspicious and should be looked at. I feel for the children. They've lost both parents. I hope the au pair fries chicken and cooks collard greens, or English is their second language. The Trigger Smart tried to disprove electrocution. Stay secure. Go Max. Yeah, I like Trigger Smart stuff, and I invite people to try to disprove electrocution. I invite people to scrutinize my theories. That's how you get better. That's how you get better. Harpole said on the Sean Ryan show he was applying pressure to CK's carotid blood, was splattering everywhere and hit him in the lips, tasted it. Seconds later, gets a carry him no blood. Yeah, I would discount everything he said on that show. That was like the ultimate LARP hour, in my opinion. I didn't see time for anybody to do anything. They were pulling, and then off they went. I do think they pulled stuff off of them. We have more information on the uni shooter in 2 days than Tyler in 3 months. Baron, is it possible that something smaller went into his neck than if he was electrocuted, it would have broken his vertebrae? It is possible if he was electrocuted, it would have broken his vertebrae. And it is possible something smaller went into his neck. That would be a decoy microphone. The mic would be shattered, right? No. Also, personal experience with execution, working a hot circuit, 277 480V. Lucky to be alive, but have photos of injuries. Do your photos look like Charlie Kirk's hands? The mic probably wouldn't be shattered, though. I don't know that you'd still be able to use it, but I would think it would still be functional. I don't know. That I don't know. But thank you. That's a very generous donation. I was one of your billion emails. Comparison of inner arm. No marks. What's with the stun gun marks? Did security quiet him? I have a deeper dislike for Erica Kirk. Team Truth. It looks like stun gun marks to me. We'll examine that later this week. Do the metal legs of his chair go through the legs of that table? No, they don't. It kind of folds around. It looks weird, but it doesn't. Could Charlie Kirk be a derailment for Epstein? Of course. At interview done day after, talked about mic issues, sounded like a shot came from below him. Who? Even speculated maybe came from spirit. Who? I would love to see that interview, but I don't know who that was. Isn't that such a classic move? The spouse being away from the scene of the crime. Erica says she couldn't be on Egyptian planes because she was again at the hospital. So cliche. Yeah, the Egyptian plane thing was weird. Let's be honest. But I don't want to cover her appearance on Barry Weiss because I thought it was. I don't want to say things that I don't want to say. Yeah, I did see this. I do not believe it because you can clearly see somebody lifting his arm. And that's to me why his arm came up. Somebody was lifting it, now why they were lifting it, maybe to get under it, to pick him up, I don't know. But that was someone lifting his arm that caused that to happen. For being authentic, Merry Christmas from the United Kingdom. Thank you, J. Jones, 1970. Thank you very much. I now have 50 L-bucks to do something with. 50 quid. Ain't that right, mate? I know the slang. Subscribe from your other channels if you have more than one, folks. I have 3 family members as well. Keep going, Baron. You, Candace, and Ian have our unconditional support. Stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel, not just in terms of credibility. It helps push us up the YouTube algorithms. Don't forget to like the videos. That definitely pushes the videos out on the YouTube algorithms. Don't forget to comment. Once I put the video up, after we get off this live stream, it'll go up after about 20 or 30 minutes. It takes a little while to process, but once you see it go up, if you see the video, like it again, and drop a little quick comment. It's good for the algorithm, and that pushes it out too. So the more people see this video, the more it gets in front of them, the more I'm able to do stuff like this. CJ is right. Let's watch Hunter Kovac mic interview together. You're going to love it together. You're going to love it. What's the Hunter Kovac mic interview? I have to find it. That's a very generous donation, Shay. Thank you, Shay. Parents need a fantastic attorney with a fistful of subpoenas. Are you available? What's with Hunter questioning EK? Who the heck set that up? Very sus. I generally have made a rule over the years, with very limited and few exceptions, that I don't represent people I meet on radio. This isn't technically radio. This is internet, but I don't want this to be confused with advertising for a law practice. That would be immoral and unethical, and I don't want to do that. So generally speaking, I have not taken cases from people I've met through broadcasting. What about the ring? It was a complete circle, according to pics from McClintock. No way to come off unless it was melted. Who picked it up? I thought it was one of those that he could unlatch from the bottom. I need to go back and look at the pictures from Charles McClintock Wilson, because that would be a big story if it melted off his finger. I thought it was one that came unlatched, but it's still, why did it come unlatched? And then why did it hang near his pinky before falling when his hand let go? Go Max, thank you. Hi, smash secondary like buttons for $1,000. Yeah, we're going to do a $1,000 giveaway. I don't know how many people we're at. How many have we added today? We've added just over 500 since we've been on the air. So, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to 100,000 in the next day or two, hopefully. And we'll give that $1,000 gift card away. I think it'll be an Amazon gift card. I know some of you guys hate Amazon, but it's so easy. Oh, it's so easy. But maybe I'll work to find something else. What about the lightning bolt on the tent? Not in any other picks. It is in other picks. He had that for a few, several appearances before this year. Do they think you would light the top of the menorah he was sitting on? Oh, that's funny. AI's wrong. AI's wrong about a lot of things. I have evidence from shows last year he did where he's clearly under a tent that has a microphone on it. Couldn't agree more. Women have good intuition. Generally speaking, women are pretty sharp. Sent you a picture of the mic with white cast. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Crowned with Tinfoil. You commented about that earlier. I want to see that. That's really good. Yeah, I've been skipping a bunch of these. Erica and Candace meeting tomorrow. I didn't want to waste everybody's time reading the same comment over and over and over. I'm tuning in late. Gonna go back and watch. We want to congratulate you on 96,000 subscribers. Amazing, well deserved. Yeah, I remember talking to my sister when I hit 3,000 subscribers a few months ago, thinking, how am I ever going to keep 3,000 people entertained? Life comes at you fast. It's working. It worked out. Could the chair he was sitting on somehow be electrified? Maybe completing breaking a circuit, hidden wires. I do notice that Dan Flood put a fan adjacent to the chair right before it started. I don't know what that could be or whatever, but I don't know. I always appreciate how articulate, discerning, and real you are. We need more of that. Also, can I email you a tip, or is your inbox overwhelmed? It's really weird and salient. Yeah, you can email me. Make your subjects stand out. Make your subjects, no, not just all caps. Make your subjects creative, and you're more likely to get open. Highly ironic, the main focus of the cover of his new book is a hand. Ooh. I believe your hypothesis is incorrect, and they're red-handed. Ooh, that's excellent. That is excellent. How does the guy in the black shirt literally reach out and catch Charlie before the crowd even reacts and ducks? Good question. Not sure if this has been discussed yet. Could the mic under the shirt overloaded, exploded as a result of the shock? So as to explain why his shirt blew up like that. I think there has to be an explanation for why his necklace so violently shot up into his neck. And I'm telling you guys, if you slow it down, I might have to, no, I'm not going to take the sweatshirt off, but thank you for your comment and your generous donation. If you slow it down, he tenses up and his shirt comes way high like this. No bullet going over your neck is going to cause your shirt to come up. That's the necklace. Now, what would cause the necklace to go up? Because when it comes up, according to Base Sam Parker on Twitter, when his necklace comes up, you would think, well, maybe if the necklace was pulled on real hard, it would come up. But no, when the necklace comes up, guess what you see? Go to basesamparker.com and look at his feed about this. The necklace comes up and there's a bunch of slack hanging off the necklace. You know what that's indicative of? The pendant was propelled upwards and the necklace back did not go backwards. Now, the question remains, I'm going to cover all this in another show, but I'm going to use Sam's excellent journalism on Twitter as one of my points on a show, a couple shows from now. When that necklace comes up and you have the slack on the necklace, that means the pendant propelled it. What could propel the pendant? Could it be the electricity from the microphone or the grounded chair? Could it be the electricity from the Rode Go Wireless 2 microphone? Or was something else on his body that could have caused an electrical impulse or an explosion of some sort? So we'll look into all of that. We'll look into all that and more. I don't just show up, guys. I don't just I've prepared days, maybe a week or two in advance. We're going places. It's orderly. We're going to get there. Does anyone know if it's the first time CK used a wired microphone? It is not. Seems his prior rallies, he had wireless. Thank you, Baron and Alley, for your amazing investigation. Thank you for the thank you. Thank you for the donation. I'm going to go to one I know I can pull up quickly, but I think he's using a wired microphone there too. It's the Texas A&M Part 2, Charlie Kirk. And I know I've got it queued up to where he's answering a question, which is why I'm going specifically to that. No, he's using a wired mic. So yeah, it's not the first time he's used a wired mic. The narrative that Tyler was smirking on all mainstream media, but when you watch full videos, he's just talking to his attorney, seeing SIPs everywhere. Now, yeah. You got to keep in mind, these people don't talk to anyone. So even though it's really grave circumstances, I'm gonna say something else about his tie color in a second. Even though it's really grave circumstances, a very serious matter, like you've sat around for weeks with almost no contact. Humans are communal beings. You're craving that contact. And when you have it, you're giddy. It's the same reason people laugh at awkward moments, like laugh giving a eulogy or laugh sharing bad news. It's not that they're cruel and evil and awful. It's that they're awkward. It's an awkward moment. So yeah, that's the smirking thing was dumb. The second thing that was really dumb was everybody was saying that his tie choice, it was like pink and light blue, was somehow a message to the trans community. Guys, do you think Tyler went to Dillard's before the hearing and picked out a nice tie? He's in solitary. Where do you think he got the tie? His lawyer showed up with a tie, said, here, put this on. Where did the lawyer get the tie? Probably grabbed one out of the closet. Frankly, that's where most lawyers get their ties. So stop that. I had a client in New York. It was outside of Buffalo. Tried a case. It lasted a couple of 3 weeks. He wore one of my ties one day. It was a nice little, what I call a brunch tie, a little yellow tie with blue stripes on it. It was a great looking brunch tie. But I showed up that day and he needed a tie. And I had one in my bag. I was like, here, I have my backup tie in my briefcase in case I get lunch on it. So he ended up with my brunch tie. I promise you, my client, who had been in prison for 18 years by this point, or 15 years, was not shopping for court, nor was Tyler Robinson. Yeah, I saw that. No, it has not. I've lost faith in our system a long time ago. What channels other than yours would you recommend to someone just starting to understand what might have happened to Charlie Kirk and why? Candace Owens, Valhalla, VFT, Trigger Smart. These are YouTube channels. On X, I would go to Blake Bednar's, Base Sam Parker. Oh gosh, Ian Carroll has done phenomenal work on every medium: Twitch, YouTube, X. I mean, he's just done killer work. Just start fishing around. That's a pretty good starting group there. Ryan Matta does good work on X. Yeah, have fun. Go find some stuff. Yeah, I saw that. They're meeting. Let's see here. Seems like everyone who ran to save Charlie Kirk looked like ready for the task, knowing shooting still on. Were they really surprised? It looked unsafe for all. So a first responder unit of paramedics typically will not enter a zone unless it's been secured. They don't have to run through live fire. That's not their job description. Police is different. And private security is different. Like if I'm paying you millions of dollars and the gunshots are still going, you better come get me. That's why I'm paying you. If J.D. Vance escorted the body, he saw the burnt hands as well. That makes him an accomplice too. What can we do? Not necessarily. J.D. Vance didn't get there until the body was already all made up, is my understanding. And then it was a closed casket onto the Air Force II. I don't know if they opened it up and examined it, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Candace said the SD video guy showed her what was actually not from the camera he took the SD card out of. Wonder what he showed her from a different. What he showed her was from a different angle. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. That's great information. I'll have to go back and watch that episode. It was a long time ago. New here, don't understand the Patsy. How are they picked and coordinated? Love your work. Yeah, we've talked about this. I'll do a real brief recap of this. Patsy's, you take them as you get them. I think it was I want to say, and I don't know this, I want to say it was Daryl Cooper who I'm stealing this from. I'm stealing this from somebody. And I think it was Daryl Cooper. But Patsy's, like they're all over the place. They're planted. They're ready to go. They're primed. But you got to get one, and you don't like get to try them out. They have to be convinced they're in on it, right? And so if you're in Utah and your local Patsy is Tyler Robinson for this op, you don't really get to pick what kind of weapon he brings. Hope maybe you've heard he has a better weapon than a 30-06, but when he shows up with it, that's what you're going with. But they're curated one of a few ways. One is they're compromised. They've been looking at dirty images of children online. They've been cheating on their spouse. They've been engaging in closeted behavior they don't want their church community knowing about or their friends and family knowing about. And so you can own them that way. That's one way. But another way is you just inculcate, some sense, or that's the wrong word. You make true believers out of them for a cause, and then you hype them up and let them know they're part of a team. And then when that push comes to shove, they're the only ones still standing. I think that happens a lot. Dan Flood made the arm signal, then immediately goes to catch Charlie. Zero hesitation between the two actions. I'll have to go back and look at it in light of that comment. Thank you. Hey, Baron, awesome one show. Only one show? My photo is new shirts I'm making. Anyone wants to get a hold of me? I can't see. Does it say Fed Slop? I think that's what it says. Only awesome one show? I like to believe I have 30 awesome shows now under my belt here. Let's see here. I know that you said you're your own sidekick, but if you ever reconsider a comedic sidekick, the offer still stands. Open-ended invitation. Thank you, Major. I will take you up on it if I ever decide I want a sidekick. I kind of like being a one-man band. Are we 100% sure an autopsy was done on police? I don't know if you saw it today. I was a little awkward with Allie. Allie's a great guest. There's nothing in the world wrong with Allie. She did a great job and has done heroic work on this case. But it's just hard for me to yield I talk a lot. It's hard for me to yield and be a good host when there's a sidekick. Are we 100% sure an autopsy was done? Allegedly. On police scanner, they said there was not an autopsy. Yeah, but that was early. There's a lot of misinformation early. Doctor signed death certificate, and they needed an officer to file some type of report. Can send to you if you want. I've heard it. Thank you, Cash Money. I've heard that. I'm pretty confident an autopsy was done. Legally, it's required. There should be, as a earlier commenter pointed out, there should be photos, according to him, and not one but two different locations, medical examiner and an autopsy. And if that's the case, hopefully we will get answers once and for all what his hands look like. Hopefully Tyler Robinson's defense team can look at them. Thank you. Smedley Butler is an idol of mine. Own the book. It's about as America first as you can get. His story should be common knowledge. He spoke the truth, even if you hated it. because he led by example. I cannot recommend highly enough. Google Smedley Butler. War is a Racket. You don't have to remember his name. Just War is a Racket. Read the book. Change your life. Do I think Alex Murdaugh will get a new trial since the circuit clerk pled guilty to showing sealed exhibits? Haven't been following it. Don't know who that is. I don't know. Do I know the real attorney who offered pro bono is not? Do I know why the real attorney? Real in quotes is a little condescending and rude to his team. His team is full of real attorneys. I can assure you that. You don't get to try death penalty cases unless you're a real attorney. But I don't know why. If there's somebody who offered to represent him pro bono, maybe they don't need him. Maybe they don't want him. Maybe they're doing nefarious things undermining his case. I don't know. But I wouldn't, just because someone's a public defender or an appointed attorney, that just certainly doesn't make them real attorneys. I know several damn good appointed attorneys, very good appointed attorneys that I would trust my life with. One of them, frankly, is a federal public defender right now and has represented me on something before. Not criminal. Well, could have been criminal. But it wasn't me. It wasn't like murder or anything. It was a miscommunication with the Attorney General's office. But yeah, so it's there's some damn good lawyers out there who are appointed lawyers. Hi, Die Laughing here. Can defense force an independent autopsy? Sorry, Festin. I don't know the answer to that. 80 bucks. I hope $8 are huge. I don't know how much. I don't know what the conversion rate is. The assumption there's only one SD card in the camera. As a sports photographer, all my cameras have 2 SD card slots on which I record simultaneously for backup purposes. Cheers from Oz. Thank you, Oz. Thank you for the $80. Thank you for that valuable information. Very, very kind. Never miss an episode. Thank you, Katy Perry, but not in space. Not the same Katy Perry. I have followed you since the beginning. You have become my number one for great investigating and humor. Thank you. Today wasn't as funny, I don't think, of a show. It was a little darker almost. You're made for this. I trust and admire your work. Great job. Thanks to your wife and kids for sharing you with us. They do deserve a great deal of credit. They were coming up on 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I've not seen them all evening because I was prepping for the show all day and then have been in here all evening. So I've got to go out there and play daddy here in the next 13 minutes. I'm going to try to get through it by 9 o'clock. Try to get through it, not play daddy. I got to go be daddy. Be daddy. Love you, Baron. You're a gentleman, a scholar. Assume you have a theory on what caused the neck cavitation. I do. People aren't going to want to hear it. People aren't going to want to hear it. Rifle people are not going to want to hear it. But I do. We'll talk about it. Please come back Tuesday. Thank you and your fans for sharing. You love you and your show. Yeah, I'll probably be here Monday or Tuesday. Would be my guess. Probably Monday or Tuesday. I doubt I will wait till Wednesday like I have in the past. I just got too much to get through. Way too much to get through. I saw that. Erica and Candace, we got it. They're safe. Yeah, I think it would be safe. Hopefully she's doing it at her house. Love the work you're doing. Couple questions. Do hands show burns that quickly? Wouldn't he be shaking if he got electrocuted? Not necessarily. It's not Hollywood as far as the shaking. And hands burning that quickly, my understanding in talking with electricians and burn unit people, yes. But I am neither. I'm not an electrician. I don't work in a burn unit. And I have never been electrocuted or shocked. I guess shocked. Electrocuted probably means you're dead. Stephen Gardner show did a week or two later showing a thermal scan of Charlie right when it happened. It was red, showing heat all over that microphone. Boy, I sure would love to see that. I would love to see that. How did they get a thermal scan? Have to go back and watch. Yes, I'm aware of the Candace meeting. Thank you guys for your generous donations, letting me know. Yeah, I thought about this. I don't think so. I don't think it would be incidental. Bad news. You're way off on one thing. Your hoodie is periwinkle. It is not. Periwinkle is a purple color. I'm telling you, it's this light is this big. I wish I could. Can you see the reflection of the light? You see that? You see what's in my face? You see that? That light is directly in my face. There's a camera below it. It's not periwinkle, I promise you. Do we have pics of the microphone after the fact? Maybe the photo you showed with table afterwards. Fairly convinced the Mar-a-Lago display is fake. I don't know if we have footage of the immediate aftermath with the microphone. That's a great question, and I will take it upon myself to find the answer out to that. Thank you. You mentioned we'd be surprised to learn what 2 states your top viewers are from. What states? My husband and I watch you together in Oregon, and we've been curious since you mentioned it. New York and California. I wouldn't think I would be big in either state. Now, it might just be populations, but I would think Texas more than New York. Not so. Not so. New York and California, believe it or not. Arizona's up there, though, which for a not very big state, it's kind of surprised me. Makes me wonder just how many people around the TPUSA infrastructure are interested in this story. Oh, wow. Looking at pics while you talked about BH missing phone and noticed it was on his belt half out of his shirt. I also see sus marks under shirt. Well, I got to take a picture of that and go back and watch that. I sent you a video of Charlie Kirk right side footage when the security team takes him down. One of the security guards right before they lift him up. Looks like he pulls out a taser out of his pocket. I sent you a video of Charlie Kirk right side. I sent you a video of Charlie Kirk right side footage when the security takes him down. One of the security guards right before they lift him up. I hope that's easy to find. Oh, wait a minute. I'm reading the wrong one. I sent you a video of Charlie Kirk right side foot. Yeah, I hope that's easy to find. I hope that email is easy to find because I do want to see that. I absolutely want to see that. Know how a shirt sticks to you when it gets static? Look at CK's shirt immediately after he is shot. I don't think he was shot. View from right, visible on right shoulder. I'll look at it. This is all good. This is why I love my commenters. This is why we have the best community in the game. This is why I go through all the comments. I learn from your emails and your comments as much as anybody. I agree, just say Julie. Could not agree more, as a matter of fact. Let's see here. I'm running out of time. I'm really going to try to wrap up on time. Aussie lady meant phonetics, Bondi, not Bondi. I know that's what she meant, but it's wrong. I can't help it that you guys speak the wrong words when you see words spelled out. My major, what's a PLN dollar? Well, I got to stop and look that up. That's going to delay the show by at least 10 seconds. PLN is Polish. Oh, we talked about this already. Polish zloty. My one major doubt since the beginning, Erica has been threatened and is scared. She might tell Candace this and ask her to stop the investigation. Greetings from Poland. That was my initial take, was that Erica Kirk was scared and that she thought she was in grave danger. But if she thought she was in grave danger, you know who she wouldn't be meeting with in person? Not unless she had a bunch of handlers around. Charlie was the initiation device. The voltage through the necklace would set off a few grams of PETN used in a pager attack. Same decibel level as a 30-06 and effective as a shape charge. 100% lines up. Charlie was the initiation device. Voltage through the necklace. Oh, I see. He got shocked, which caused the necklace to go up. Now, that's an interesting theory. Does PETN work that way? That's interesting because it doesn't take much PETN to create a big. And again, it's not enough that he's wounded from the explosion. It's enough that you cause the device to go up into the neck at a violent rate of speed. In other words, the device becomes the bullet. What's a bullet? I mean, we get enamored with guns and we look at the shape of bullets and they look cool and all that. But a bullet is just a projectile moving at a high rate of speed. That's all a bullet is. And a necklace can be a bullet if you can get it to propel at a high rate of speed. And the propelling would be much the same. The same way a rocket takes off. I'll show it on another show. I promise you I'll show you the picture of the, again, credit to AlleyTopFiles. She found the picture of the Charlie Kirk St. Michael medal, and it looks like a rocket tube coming out of the bottom of it. It does. It does. Drone shot's an interesting theory. Husband from Gaza. said quadcopter could easily have done that. They are fairly large, obvious. Yeah, I haven't seen one. That's the thing. I haven't seen one. I doubt she's going to tell Candace Charlie's alive. Don't you believe that your input to Tyler's defense team would help save him from conviction? Also strange that Charlie Kirk's parents haven't spoken up. Could be they're threatened or they themselves are employees of intelligence. Well, that last part I haven't even considered. That would actually make a lot of sense considering what Charlie did for a living. But I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. I have thought it's strange they haven't spoken up. They were very quiet at the memorial and the funeral. Do I think my input could help save him from conviction? So this is the interesting part of being a lawyer. Sometimes your ethics require you to do certain things. It's almost form over substance. Like, I think as a person covering this story, if I was to reach out to his team, I could see the State Bar of Utah having real problems with that. Now, maybe I could contact their state bar and say, do you mind if I reach out to them? They're probably going to say, no, don't. And then if I prompt my word on everything holy, if I reach out to his team, you guys will be the first to know. I will tell you immediately. I will not do that without letting you know, but I don't anticipate doing it. Look, everything I say is public. Send it to the team. I'm sure they get a zillion emails, but this is interesting. They want to meet her in person to serve her papers or arrest her. I doubt it. That would be so low budget. I doubt it. I have questions about the woman in brown with the camera behind the sound guy at 1:36:16 who exits right before the shot. So you're talking about a black lady who is filming Hunter Kozak, asking his question. Right before the shot, she leaves and goes out the back, and then she films them carrying Charlie Kirk to the SUV. Yeah, I've had questions about her as well. I've had questions about her. Less than 2.5 seconds from Dan Flood's sign until his hands are on Charlie Kirk. No response to 30-6, 150 yards ahead before moving to Charlie Kirk. No limbic response to delay. Yeah. I hear all that. I hear it all. I do. What are the chances Candace does a 180? If she does, it'll be telling. Not that she'd be compromised or anything, just she must have seen something pretty convincing. And I would be curious. I'd be curious what it was. Was his life insurance canceled? I see I see that, but I've not heard that. I'm a Candace supporter. Excuse me. And love your videos. I do want to say and give the devil's advocate. Maybe they think displaying the mic symbolizes his voice, but still off. Given I side with your discovery, yeah, maybe anything's possible. Anything's possible. I hope Candace asked Erica to release the work product for Clock Tower LLC on 2023 TP 990, Turning Point 990. $1 million project to see if it's related to Clock Tower X LLC, FARA. Whew. You guys are deep, dog. I hope she does too. I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Let's see. Has anyone else noticed how many times Erica Kirk says in her interviews, we're human? That's so bizarre how many times it's been said. Everybody has a verbal tick. I'm not going to hold that against her. Maybe someone ought to warn Candace Owens that EK may possibly be a Trojan horse. Why would anyone trust her at this point? I don't know. Not my parents, Charlie Kirk's parents. What you talking about, Willis? Let's see. Erica is going to tell Candace Charlie's alive on a beach somewhere. They knew Israel was going to murk him. Decided to devise a plan to fake his death and make a doo-doo ton of money. Yeah, look, if that's true, if they really did fake his death, and and they intend to take a young man's liberty and potentially have him. I mean, Tyler Robinson's on trial. That's so diabolical. If you set up Tyler Robinson to get the death penalty or even get arrested, I mean, it's not like he has liberty right now. He's locked up. Unless you cut a deal with him and you said, hey, take the fall. We're going to set it up. You're going to be on trial, but we're going to get you acquitted. That's still a gamble. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. Now, what if they said, we're going to get you acquitted, but we're going to set up the people who are trying to kill me by electrocution? And I'm going to leak how the electrocution worked to a podcaster none of y'all ever heard of named Baron Coleman. And Tyler Robinson's like, all right, Charlie, I got you. Maybe that's the plan. Was I in on it the whole time? Ooh, I looked like Erica there. Candace did a TikTok answering Erica Kirk regarding Egyptian plane. No one accused Erica of flying an Egyptian plane. Yep, that's correct. That's correct. Let's see. Did you notice that it looked like Hunter Kozak was at the Texas A&M event? Two people behind the questioner when Dan made the joke about the arm sign. If it is Hunter, wouldn't it indicate he was in on planning? I saw that allegation. I don't know that was Hunter. I don't know that was Hunter. I'm too old for this, LOL. Pardon the late party question. Late to the party question. Would you share from bottom up the photos behind you I have most identified enjoying listening to your work? Yeah, sure, of course. On the left, or over here, I have Rosa Parks. I think Rosa Parks is a revolutionary and an American badass. Now, this wall is people who the mainstream media hated. That's how they ended up on this wall. In the middle, we have Booker T. Washington. He founded Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. He was an incredibly influential person. He was a personal confidant of, for example, Teddy Roosevelt, who's up here. Over here, we have Martin Luther King Jr. in a jail cell, I believe, in Birmingham. Letter from a Birmingham jail is one of the all-time great pieces of literature. Everybody should read it. Up here, we have John F. Kennedy. This is JFK. If you zoom in, he looks like he's smoking a blunt. Very well could just be a cigar, but it kind of looks bluntish. Might be a hand-rolled cigarette. Who knows? This right here, this is the one that trips up most people. This is Senator Joe McCarthy. Maybe I'll do a show on him one day. American badass. One of the greatest Americans who ever lived. Senator Joe McCarthy of McCarthyism fame. I'm a huge fan. Love the man. And wish we had 100 more like him in the Senate right now. This is Teddy Roosevelt, the greatest president who ever lived. Big Teddy fan. Love Teddy Roosevelt. Actually, my mom just bought me a book not long ago. I'm about to start it. Love Teddy Roosevelt. If you've never read River of Doubt, it's a fantastic book about Teddy Roosevelt after he left the presidency, charting a river called the Rio de Dúvida in Brazil that feeds into the Amazon River. The story is almost unbelievable. It's so good. In the middle, you have a young Donald J. Trump in his 30s standing outside Trump Tower. And over here, we have President Andrew Jackson. The top three over here and this guy here, these are the only four true populist candidates we've ever had in this country. These three up here are populist presidents. These three up here are the most populist presidents we've ever had. Andrew Jackson probably being the most, Teddy Roosevelt being the next most, Donald Trump being the third most. Of note, all four presidents have been shot. Teddy Roosevelt was shot giving a speech. He finished the speech before going to the hospital. Donald Trump was given a shot giving a speech. He did not finish the speech. Andrew Jackson was shot a number of times in duels. And John F. Kennedy, obviously, in Dallas, November 22, 1963. So that's a tour around my office. I'm not going to give you a tour of the rest of it because I'd have to move all this equipment over here behind in front of the light. But I'm not going to do that. But my office is fun. I like it. There's a lot on the walls in here. So there you go. I hope that was worth it. Is it hard to square that they let his head flop on the way to the SUV? Yeah, it is to me. I mean, you're paid to protect the man. The LLC that held the life insurance folded. So let's see what happens to the policy. I didn't know that. Guys, like the video. It helps. There's 15,000 of you still on this phone. Go like the video. It helps the program. Help me get to 100,000 and I'll help you make $1,000. And we're going to do a $1,000 giveaway when we get there. We're at 96,921 right now, just over 3,000 away. After you like the program, go hit the subscribe button. Most of you who watch this show on a daily basis are not subscribed. I get those statistics from YouTube as well. More than half of you who watch this program each week are not subscribers. That's unacceptable. Go subscribe. While you subscribe, click the notification button. It should let you know when I go live. Sometimes it malfunctions. I hear that from time to time. Don't forget to love one another. And I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. It's very difficult not to get bitter and angry when you disagree with somebody. That happens in marriages. It happens between children, siblings, parents and children, happens with schoolmates, happens with workmates. When you disagree with somebody, there's a tendency to want to get bitter and angry. Don't give in to that temptation. That bitterness and anger, that's literally diabolical. It's demonic. So don't do that. Instead, understand it's us versus them. It's not right versus left. It's us versus them. So we need to band together. And figure that out. Why the black photos at the bottom? They're the foundation, sir. They're the foundation. I honestly don't know. I had 3 that were upright, 2 that were sideways, and 3 that were upright. I wanted to put the upright presidents at top just because they're presidents. I wanted to put the 2 that were sideways in the middle. One's a president, one's a sitting senator. And I wanted the other 3 upright photos here. I do have one upright black and white photo who's not on the wall. And I have one landscape black and white photo that's not on the wall. The landscape one is President Ronald Reagan and Pope John Paul II. The other up and down one is Malcolm X. But I had these on the wall during a work call, and Malcolm X is holding an AK-47. And someone at another company said they thought my picture was a little too aggressive for a work call. So I took it down. Sorry, won't happen again. Apparently, AK-47s don't go over well in the corporate world, but they do go over well in my world. I don't know how YouTube would react to that, but that's why they're at the bottom. It's just that they're up and down. They're portrait mode, and I wanted the presidents at the top for obvious reasons because they're presidents. Guys, I appreciate it. I thank you so much. Again, spread peace and love. Don't get angry. Do something nice for somebody. It's Christmas season, right? Do something nice for somebody. Tip your server an extra $5-10. It means a lot to them. It won't mean anything to you. So I'll see you guys again soon. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or if it'll be Tuesday, but I'll see you guys back here very soon. And I'll put the live stream up plenty of hours ahead of time so you'll know I'm coming. Have a good one.